Well, here we are, episode 117. And for my friend Todd Sockman, who's not really good with numbers or math, that's episode 117, my friend. And on this episode, in the house, I have the Wrecking Two, Mark Smith and Lou Calicchio from the Music Relish Show. And we're going to be talking about the year 1972 in music. What a year. I mean, albums like American Pie, Led Zeppelin 4, Tapestry. Just a great year. So sit back, relax, put on your bell bottoms and your platform shoes, put on that polyester shirt or that concert t-shirt, and enjoy the show.
The KOFB studio presents Milk Crates and Turntables, a music discussion podcast hosted by Scott McLean. Now, let's talk music. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, Amanda, for that wonderful introduction as usual. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. You know the name of it, I'm not going to say it. And welcome to the podcast. You know the name, I'm not going to say it. We're streaming live right now over Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, D Live, and yada, yada, yada. After this live stream, this will go to about every podcast platform in the universe. So it's going to be a good show tonight. Good show. Going to be talking about 1972 in music. Very interesting. Very interesting. Lou Calicchio was 17, and let's bring him on. Oh, wait. 17. When I was 17.
It was a very... You're lying, by the way.
I know I'm lying.
God damn.
Yeah.
I was 40.
And then there was the Gen Xer, Mark Smith.
I was three.
What's up, gentlemen? My wrecking crew.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Nice to see you.
Absolutely.
Did you know we're technically, I'm having feedback, Generation Jones.
Generation Jones?
They're calling that, it's the younger cohort of the baby boomers. Because we're kind of young to be baby boomers in a lot of ways.
I'm not buying that. I like baby boomer. No.
I don't.
Although in 72 I was a basketball Jones. I got a basketball Jones. Only baby boomers know that. And maybe some Gen X's that leaned back.
Except Mark.
Not me.
Mark, you never listened to Cheech and Chong?
Yeah. I got Big
that's
Bamboo.
That's a Cheech and Chong skit.
I just got Big Bamboo. That's my album.
Okay.
I went downtown to look for a job.
Yeah. Going downtown, gonna see my gal, gonna sing her a song. I'm gonna show her my ding dong. Did he just say ding dong?
Blind baby.
Blind Melon Chitlin.
Yeah.
So have you ever gone back and listened to a Cheech and Chong album, Lou?
No.
I did. And I was kind of like,
Meaning? Like
they were good for their time. But you remember all the good stuff about Cheech and Chong albums. Yeah. But then when you go back and listen to them, they're maybe not as funny as they were in the 70s.
You've lost that shock value.
I think they were amusing, but I think we thought they were hilarious back in the day.
My father thought they were funny, which I thought was odd.
Oh, and they went on to brilliance by making all that stuff into movies.
Absolutely. Yep.
Kind of launched them to a whole new generation.
My dad liked the line, "Bailiff, whack his pee-pee."
That's right. Good evening, Patty Ossie. Always the first one in.
Patty.
Yeah. So I'm kind of operating.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah. Okay. I hate that.
I do too.
I'm operating a little differently tonight. The beautiful, my wife, the beautiful Dr. Vera, bought me a laptop now I can I was using an iPad for all my notes and stuff. So now I'm just going to kind of see how this works out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Getting a little
It works good. I got mine.
Yeah.
I'm going through mine.
Ah, yes, Lou. Mark was a little worried before the show.
I was having internet issues. This
and you said you forgot your laptop. Yeah.
No, it's just nothing's connecting.
Do us a favor tonight. Keep moving, because last week you got still a couple times, and I went, "Uh-oh."
That was with Perry. That
Every
was
once in a while, pick your nose.
On Music Relish, Perry said you froze up the whole time, but it came out anyway. We'll see.
All right, so we got a lot to cover here tonight, gentlemen. As usual, I got some good. Did I say good feedback from last week's show? I think people are liking the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
great.
So I think we might stick with this format for a little while. Maybe we'll break off and go a little, to the left. It's kind of like the show Supernatural, right? The show Supernatural, one of my favorite shows ever. They had the beautiful way of staying on, keeping storylines going, but at the same time, every couple episodes they kind of divert and do something different. But the storyline is still in there. So maybe this is how I'll work this, And we'll see. We still got we haven't even ever touched the 60s and, even the 90s. I think the 90s could be interesting also.
Sure. Every year has a bunch of albums you love, and it reminds you of those albums.
And they're all different. I mean, if you look at 72, the scope of music in 72, it's all over the place.
Yeah. Let me put the chat overlay right on the screen so people can see. People like to see their comments, I think.
Yeah. Especially on Winthrop Live or Winthrop Votes or whatever.
Yes. And somebody actually mentioned that they love the part where Mark goes, "Here we go again."
It's become a regular feature.
In preparation, I put my wine in a cup tonight because I'm figuring I might get a little, "Here we go," and knock it over. So.
All right, so let's get into it. As I usually start this off with, did I say thank you to Amanda for that wonderful introduction? I think I did. I can't forget my girl Amanda. I did. Anyways.
Well, let's not say it again.
Yeah, I just did. So, all right, let's start. Usually these in the year format, everything starts early. This took a couple weeks for something to kick off in 1972, where on January 17th, 12 miles of U.S. Highway 51 in Memphis, Tennessee, from South Parkway East to the Tennessee-Mississippi state line, is renamed Elvis Presley Boulevard.
Cool.
Yeah. He
was
still alive to see that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he put out 2 albums in 72.
Yeah. Oh, look at Lou. Lou he's itching. He's got it.
The first one's called Elvis Farts Live in Vegas.
Ah, okay.
Right.
I see Lou, I see you're not in Paris this week. I see you're in a hostel again.
I'm back.
You're back in a hostel.
I'm thinking, what was the movie with Dirk Diggler and Burt Reynolds? Boogie Nights. I'm thinking more of that kind of theme there with that couch.
Yeah, right. The couch.
That
Lou got the porn couch.
Or Rockford Files. Is he in the mobile home? Is he in the trailer?
I'll
I like the first one. Lou got the porn couch in the background. Chicka wang wang.
You got a black light you could shine on the couch?
Yeah.
I do. I'll bring up my disco ball.
No, that's okay.
We don't
Joanne Doyle Kosborski, welcome. I love you. I love Patty too. So January 20th, the debut of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon at the Dome in Brighton is halted by technical difficulties. Dark Side of the Moon would be played in its entirety the following night, but it would be a full year before the album was released. So what was that? What does that mean? They were going to perform it? They performed it, right?
Yeah.
Would be played in its entirety. Okay, entirety.
It was bootlegged widely before the album came out.
Yes.
Kind of concerned them, I heard,
Yeah.
Did Dark Side come out in 73?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did we cover 73?
Not yet. I don't know. I got to start looking back at the archives.
You got to do a notebook, Scott. Do a notebook.
I leave that to you guys. I go back every once in a while, like I listen to the archives. I'm like, oof. It was a rough start.
Yeah.
My shows were a little different.
At least you had a microphone.
Introductions and
at least you had a microphone, no phones. You know.
I can tell that. Yeah.
We replayed a clip from one of our earlier phone episodes last Sunday. Perry found something archived.
That's great.
It's hysterical. It's hysterical.
January 21st, 1972, Keith Richards jumps on stage to jam with Chuck Berry at the Hollywood Palladium, but is ordered off for playing too loud. Berry later claims that he did not recognize Keith and would not have booted him if he did. Yeah. January 29th to the 31st, I guess. The first Sunbury Music Festival is held in Sunbury, Victoria. Performers include Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs, Wendy Saddington Chain, and La Days Daz. Okay.
Heard of the first band. I'm not sure what they did, though. The Aztecs.
Oh, the Aztecs. Yeah, Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs. Yeah. On January 31st, 1972, over 40,000 mourners filed past Mahalia Jackson's open casket to pay their respects in Chicago's Great Salem Baptist Church. She's somewhat of a legend in the music industry. Yeah. February 9th. It's always a laugh. 1972. I like this one. Paul McCartney's new band Wings makes their live debut at the University of Nottingham in England. This is McCartney's first public concert since the Beatles' 1966 U.S. tour. That has to be like in somebody's life a big deal. Yeah. Like I was there when Wings debuted.
Yeah,
you know.
He wanted to do a Magical Mystery Tour. When they did that album, he just wanted to get out there. He always wanted to take the Beatles and just show up in places. But they're like, we can't do that. But he did it.
Yeah. I reposted a reel on Facebook yesterday of McCartney, and they're talking about the synthesizer and how when it first came out, the record companies and producers were all kind of nervous that there would be protests because that instrument is taking money out of musicians' pockets. Musicians won't get work now because of the synthesizer.
It was the AI of the day.
Yeah, McCartney was like, and kind of, it's right. He said, but this one right here, and I forget the specific model, might actually be the same one used at Apple Studio. He said, which is what we actually did for Strawberry Fields. The flutes at the beginning are actually a synthesizer. And he played it, that whole beginning, that intro with the flutes. It was so cool to seeing him do it.
Yeah,
and then he breaks into "Let Me Take You Down," although it's Lennon's song, but
it might have been a Mellotron, and
it was a Mellotron. Exactly, that's exactly what it was.
Or Chamberlain. Those things are. They're really weird how these things were made. How they got the sounds.
Lou was already, dude. He's like he's chomping. He's on fire.
Professor.
Should take a night. We should move it to Thursday every week now.
How about Wednesday and Thursday?
I almost did it. I almost had the chance to just do a music news podcast last night. Almost, but I'd rather hang out with my wife.
I'll just throw something in there. It is kind of easier for me to stay up late on a Thursday than a Wednesday because I only have to get through Friday. But then I got to remember Lou works through the weekend, so
yeah,
I have Sunday, and I have Sunday off.
Well, you do that other show. Other show.
I do, and I do. For religious reasons and for money, I play at church on Sunday mornings.
And I have everything fixed this week. I have the comments is fixed, and
we're on the right feed.
We're on the right feed. Yeah. Yep. YouTube is up there. Everything's
I'm gonna get all these messages saying I can't find it.
and I'm broadcasting in 1080p. I found that I was in 720 for a while. I don't know if people can tell the difference.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving on. Yeah. February 10th, 1972, David Bowie introduces his Ziggy Stardust persona at the second show of the 1972-73 Ziggy Stardust tour at the Toby Jug Pub in Tolsworth, Surrey, England.
Shit.
Wow.
The pub.
So you had Wings debuted, and then a day later, Ziggy Stardust debuts.
The English were kicking ass in 72.
Yeah, and staying in that realm, February 13th, 1972, Led Zeppelin's concert in Singapore is canceled when government officials will not let them off the airplane because of their long hair. You love that.
That offends me.
That was a big problem back then, right? Your long hair, you couldn't enter a country because of your long hair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I almost kept Mark off the show for his long hair, but
he's a hippie.
Hey, I'd get a night off. I could watch you guys.
I get a night off. like I cracked the whip on him.
I have worked up some PTO, Scott. Oh, I used it. I'm sorry.
He is a Grateful Dead fan.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's see. February 14th through the 18th, John Lennon in 1972, John Lennon and Yoko Ono co-hosted an entire week of the Mike Douglas Show. How fucking boring must that have been?
You ever see any of it?
No.
Oh, you gotta check it. That's my video of the week. That's my video of the week.
Okay, I guess I should check it. I probably have seen clips of it, but very forgettable, maybe.
I know you're a big Yoko fan. And she's your favorite female. It's John. Chuck Berry is on a guest. So John and Chuck Berry are jamming, and she's on the
I saw that.
You've seen that, yeah.
And the look on Chuck Berry's face is like priceless. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. She just she just did not care. She's like, I'm John Lennon's wife. I can do whatever I want.
I wonder what he really thought. I mean,
Chuck Berry?
I hope he was all about it, but
no.
Point, Chuck Berry was his idol. Chuck and Elvis. So you're jamming your idol, but you can't hear your guitar over that caterwauling,
Yeah. And how John Lennon let her get away with that is amazing. But
we don't know what happened afterwards.
We know. Yeah. February 29th, John Lennon's U.S. immigration visa expires because of his co-hosting on the Mike Douglas Show, I'm sure.
He got deported.
Because of Yoko's performance, they pulled his visa. Talk about collateral damage.
Why did they pull his?
Why didn't they pull hers? Beginning his 3.5-year fight to remain in the country. Let me back up a little bit. February 23rd, Elvis and Priscilla Presley separate. And, okay, let me back up to February 15th. I had to jump ahead just to keep those two in order. February 15th, the United States gives federal copyright protection to sound recordings. Prior to this, phonograph records were only protected at state level and not in all states. Sampling, the rap would have loved that.
Yeah.
Hip-hop's artists would have loved that.
Take it.
February 19th, a few things happened. Paul McCartney's single "Give Ireland Back to the Irish," inspired by the Bloody Sunday massacre in Ireland on January 30th, 1972, is banned by BBC. Gee, you don't say. The controversy caused by the banning only increases the song's popularity and it ends up in the top 20 in England. So why have record companies and politicians, why have they never caught on to the fact that if you put a label on that, it's just going to make it bigger?
I think the record companies agree to it knowing they're going to sell more.
Yeah, the record companies are with it. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
I mean, I'll tell you that sticker that just said, that sticker from the 80s,
what's the lyrics?
That guaranteed sales. I bought records because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't drink alcohol. Don't smoke pot. Yeah, you're going to do it. That's the whole thing. When it becomes forbidden, you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yes. It's music related. Also on February 19th, 1972, Sammy Davis Jr. makes a guest appearance on the television show All in the Family, leading to the longest laugh in the history of recorded TV up to that point. And I don't think anything has ever beat it.
No, I don't think
I think it's like a 2-minute laugh. Like they just couldn't get out of it. They couldn't stop recording because people were still laughing. It was so great when he says on 3, 1, 2, and then he kisses Archie and snaps the picture. That was a great episode.
Second to that was, would you like some sugar in your eye? That was the second funniest.
Which one was that?
That was when Sammy was sitting in Archie's chair and they're giving him coffee or something. Would you like some sugar in your eye, Sammy?
That's right.
Your eye.
Yeah. Let me see. March 15th at the 14th annual Grammy Awards. In 1972, it was the 14th annual. Hosted by Andy Williams. Winners include Carole King, Chris Christopherson, Colin Davis, Michael LeGrand, Isaac Hayes. Nobody wore a chain vest better than Isaac Hayes. I'll tell you that. Julian Bream, Vladimir Horowitz, and the Juilliard String Quartet, and Bill Withers.
Yeah.
Carole King wins Album of the Year for Tapestry, of course. Record of the Year for It's Too Late, and Song of the Year for You've Got a Friend. Monster album.
Monster band.
With Carly Simon winning Best Mouth in Music.
She did not.
Best New Artist, but there was a side
Best New Mouth
that I gave her Best Mouth in the history of music. Greatest mouth. She won that award. I gave it to her. She deserves it. Doesn't deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but she deserves that award. Also on March 15th, LA disc jockey Robert W. Morgan plays Donny Osmond's Puppy Love nonstop for 90 minutes.
Oh, God.
Police are called, no arrests are made.
Why not? Did they kill him?
Why not?
Did they shoot him?
Yeah. On March 21st, 1972, Terry Knight announces he is launching a $5 million lawsuit against Grand Funk's new manager, John Eastman, 1 week after being fired as the band's manager himself. It triggers a series of suits and countersuits between Knight and the band throughout the coming months. March 25th, 1972, the 17th Eurovision Song Contest held in, who cares? It's held in some Luxembourg or something. I don't know. March 31st, 1972, official Beatles fan club closes down.
Wow.
In 72.
Only 2 years after they broke up.
Bunch of quitters.
Really? Yeah.
What is the longest running fan club? Didn't we? I brought that up.
Elvis.
Slim Whitman.
No, it's some other group. Longest running fan club.
The Go-Go's.
The Go-Go's.
Go-Go's.
April 2nd, 1972. John Lennon and Yoko Ono hold a press conference in New York. The Lennons discuss their appeal against the U.S. Immigration Department's decision to deport John. April 9th, 1972, first solo concert of Valerie Leontief. Okay. As you can tell, I don't proofread. I don't go through it.
Great show prep tonight. Great show prep.
April 16th, 1972, Electric Light Orchestra makes their live debut at the Fox and Greyhound pub in Park Lake, Croydon, England. Yeah. What does Marie Martin say? She says, Radio Luxembourg. Many singles became hits because of that station. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm Luxembourgian, actually.
Oh, my God.
On my mother's side.
He's a Luxembourgian on LinkedIn.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I got bad. I got shut down again. Looking for executives in all the wrong places.
Electric Light Orchestra makes their live debut right at a pub. How did they fit on
all those cellos?
How did they fit everything in there?
Dun 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 dun.
Well, there was 3 customers. The rest is the group.
Imagine trying to
Yeah.
Somebody spilled beer on the cello, you know.
Oh man. Yeah, they were sitting in the audience playing. How does that work?
What was the name of the pub?
Fox and Greyhound pub. And England has why do they always have multiple names for shit?
I like Cock and Bull. Cock and Bull is the best name.
Cock and Bull store.
Yeah.
I could take a video clip that you just said I like.
Yeah.
I could just clip that.
I dare you.
So you got to watch it.
I dare you.
I hear everything.
I trust you, Scott. I trust you.
Oh, look at that. What does he think of Jack now?
Don't pick on Jack.
Let's see. April 29th, New York City Mayor John Lindsay announces that he is supporting John Lennon and Yoko Ono in their fight to remain in the United States. And nobody cares. May 2nd.
Very famous mayor. He was a very famous mayor.
John Lindsay, yeah.
At his time, yeah.
That was like Kevin White was a mayor in Boston for a long time.
He was the inspiration for the Mayor Linseed from the Batman TV series.
Oh, good one, Lou.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
One of the greatest series ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
May 2nd, 1972, Stone the Crow's lead guitarist Les Harvey is electrocuted on stage during a show in Swansea, Wales, by touching a poorly connected microphone. Harvey dies in a hospital a few hours later. The band's lead singer, Maggie Bell, Harvey's longtime girlfriend, is also hospitalized, having collapsed on stage after the incident. Imagine watching your man get electrocuted.
I read up on that. They said it was one of the most horrific onstage executions. Like, people watched him for like a minute. Remember, I brought it up on the show like a year ago. Yeah. They tried to help him. They would get electrocuted. No one knew, like, put something over your hands. But he was writhing for like at least a minute. It was just horrible to see.
After he touched the mic, he touched the mic with his face.
Yeah, he grabbed it or something. But that happened a lot back then. There's a lot of people. Keith Relf died that way.
Yeah, I had that happen to me in Elmwood. Markers in Elmwood Park. I hit a live mic. It wasn't grounded, and there's a cassette. The scream I put out is so high pitched. It didn't sound human.
Wow.
And I saw a spark, and I had a burn on my face.
Can you find that cassette?
It's somewhere. It's
gotta find it.
I know. I wish I had it. Anyway.
You didn't leave it in the Walkman the night you were listening to BOC.
If you want to see what it looks like, just watch Ian Curtis concert footage from Joy Division while he was still alive. He'd go into this trance and he would just start like doing this herky-jerky shit on stage. He was David Byrne before David Byrne, I think.
Okay.
And Tom York.
And Tom York, yeah.
What Rolling Stone song has the words herky-jerky in it?
Brown Sugar.
Undercover of the Night.
Oh.
A herky-jerky little G.I. Joe.
Oh, that's right.
Herky-jerky.
Yeah. Let's see.
Damn,
May 8th, 1972, Billy Preston becomes the first rock performer to headline at New York's Radio City Music Hall. That's a good trivia question.
Oh, yeah.
May 27th, the Opryland USA Country Music Theme Park opens in Nashville, Tennessee. In June, it doesn't give a date, founding member Roy Wood leaves Electric Light Orchestra lineup just as the band scores its first hit single. June 3rd, the Rolling Stones open their North American tour in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. That's that whole Disgraceland episode about the Rolling Stones and Trudeau's wife and the cocaine and the girl with faraway eyes. And Marie Martin says you're acknowledging country. See, that I do like that kind. I don't like this current shit from the 90s on, even maybe the 80s. I just stopped. It turned into pop music. It's pop country. It's not country music.
Has to mean something. You can
golf and western.
You could sing about crying in your beer, but make it meaningful. Yeah,
they're all pretty boys. I mean, there's no one like Waylon Jennings and Johnny Paycheck that were out just going fucking nuts.
Merle.
Just absolutely out of control. George Jones. Like they were rebels. They were literally rebels.
None of the new guys have great mug shots.
No, they're all pussies.
The only modern one that does is Randy Travis.
You know, he don't look too good now, but
there's a couple. There's a couple.
Is he still alive?
He had a major stroke.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So he's made some kind of a.
But he did have that classic look. You're right. He did have that classic country look. Yeah.
Perry will tell you that his biggest influence was Lefty Frizzell, who's one of those old traditional country guys like Hank Williams.
Yeah, Lefty Frizzell.
Yeah.
June 10th, 1972, Elvis Presley does the first of 4 concerts at Madison Square Garden. He sells out all the shows in one day, of course.
Yeah.
How could he not? He was, who was it? Someone sent me a message or a comment on Facebook that said 72. They said Elvis Presley was hot in 72. Good, like good looking hot.
Not like in 1968 though.
No, that's like the yikes.
It was Elvis.
Yeah. June 14th. Oh yeah, it was Marie Martin. That's right. She's the one that sent it to me. Yeah. Let me see. June 14th, Simon and Garfunkel reunite briefly to perform live at Madison Square Garden at a campaign benefit for Democratic presidential candidate George McGovern.
He won big that year.
Yeah. Other performers include Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Dionne Warwick. Jesus, what a
losing proposition.
Dull concert that must have been. No excitement there.
Nixon won 49 states, I think, that year.
Yeah, landslide.
George, do you know the way to San Jose?
Yeah, that's the only state he won. No, city. July 24th, 1972, Bobby Ramirez, drummer for Edgar Winter's White Trash, is beaten to death in a Chicago bar fight, reportedly because his hair is too long.
Holy shit.
There's a lot of long hair shit, even from Singapore to fucking New York.
Yeah. That was on my album in 1972.
Still got my hair.
Yeah.
They didn't mention the drummer. Damn.
Almost cut my hair. Let's see. August 5th, 1972, Clive Davis signs Aerosmith to Columbia Records at Max's Kansas City in New York City.
One of his best signings.
Yep. It definitely was profitable.
Yeah.
August 30th, 1972, John Lennon and Yoko Ono headlined the 1-to-1 concert at Madison Square Garden to benefit mentally handicapped children.
Mm-hmm. Ever see the live stuff from that?
No.
It's good. Come together. I think Elephant's Memory Band.
Elephant's Memory, Roberta Flack, yes. Stevie Wonder, and Sha-Na-Na also performed. It was still relevant in 72. I mean, look, you got to
Woodstock.
Are they in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I think they are.
I think they are.
I think they should be.
They better be. Come on.
And they really stayed relevant from the 50s through all that change in the 60s going into the 70s.
Yep. The TV
they
show.
were still relevant.
And I think next to Carly Simon, Bowser has the best mouth in rock and roll.
Oh my. Lou, my friend Lou. See.
No, they're not in the Hall of Fame. They're not in the Hall of Fame.
They're not. Lou's in the penalty box, so that's all that matters right now.
I didn't get to do this.
Because you were too. I couldn't wait any longer.
I was doing show research. It's a valuable thing.
I listen. I'm with you, buddy. I know. And Lou was making bad jokes, about Carly Simon and Bowser. And
well, he is sitting on the porn couch. So, give him a break.
Don't mess with Carly Simon's mouth. That's all I'm saying.
I said he had the second best.
That's the best. Can't even compare. And I said Sheryl Crow is number 2.
Why is she so good? What is so great?
She's got a good mouth.
I've seen it. I've seen better.
Give me an artist other than Carly Simon has a better mouth than Sheryl Crow.
I mentioned her. Not from the Divinals. Oh, suddenly last summer.
Oh, Martha Davis.
Martha Davis.
Really?
Much Better than Sheryl Crow.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
I
like Martha Davis.
Even Debbie Harry.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. What is Andy Moore? He has an all the way from Australia. My friend Andy Moore. I love Andy Moore. But he has this thing with Joe Biden. He loves throwing stuff out at Joe Biden all the way from Australia. He's a great dude, though. Big Smiths fan. As I say, that's how we met.
Friends with him.
Yeah, that's how we met. We met on a, and I've said this, I don't know how many times, but he pops up every once in a while. Yeah, I met him during COVID, I met him on a Smith's chat site, and he was a total asshole.
He's right. You probably loved him right away.
Yeah, that's right. He was a total, he would just tell it like it is. He's not even, polite about it. We went back and forth, and I was like, I kind of like this guy. He's pretty cool. I like him. Next thing you know, we've been friends for a couple of years now on Facebook. So we'll meet one day. I'm sure we'll meet. All right, back to the show. No more interruptions from the Australian guy. Oh, where was I?
Bowser.
Clive Davis, John Lennon, Yoko Ono at the concert. September 1st through 7th. I'm not going to go into all that. September 21st, ABC premieres the new TV series In Concert. First episode features Alice Cooper. Yeah. September 29th, 1972, Miles Davis unveils his new 9-piece band at the Lincoln Center Philharmonic Hall.
I love that period.
October 12th, what's that, Lou?
No, I said funky. That was his funky period.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the band opened up for him on that, and they were scared. They were scared shitless to play in front. They go on in front of Miles. And so they were just they hated it. There was dread.
You get selected by him.
You better show up.
You better be good. But
wow, that was like James Brown. He could hear everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knew that's literally genius level. To be on stage singing, dancing, and still hear that the guitar missed a note or somebody's pitch was off.
A drummer.
It's just, he would penalize the shit out of them.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be his drummer.
No.
You're gonna make a mistake.
Although funky drummer, he nailed that.
Yeah.
Nailed that. Funky drummer drumming. Let's see. October 12th, 1972. Diana Ross makes her acting debut, of course, in the successful film.
In 72?
Yep.
Mahogany?
No, come on.
Where you going? Super.
She got nominated for an Academy Award in this one.
Evergreen, something.
No. Lady Sings the Blues.
Oh, that early? I thought it was later than
72, no.
Oh, wow.
Garnering her first Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. Never came close, really, after that.
How's her mouth?
Diana Ross?
Yeah. How'd you rank it?
She got a nice mouth. They're all second to Carly Simon.
Well, yeah.
There can be an argument for second place.
Okay, I'm unwrapping it right now. Ready? Here we go. Here we go again. I'm afraid to open my mouth with this show.
No. November 3rd, 1972. We're moving through 72 pretty fast. James Taylor and Carly Simon, my girl, are married in a tiny ceremony in Simon's Manhattan apartment. Yeah. Then Warren Beatty jumped out of the closet and said, "It's all about me."
And Mick Jagger.
Yeah. November 12th, 1972, 51,778 fans packed San Diego Stadium for a concert promoted by KGB-AM to see Jay Giles Band, Quicksilver Messenger Service, Foghat, and Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. That's a pretty diverse concert.
And early in Foghat and Jay Giles' career.
Yeah, very early.
Jay Giles must have been off the hook. They had so much energy.
Back then, yeah.
They had an album out in 72 also.
Yeah.
Dr. Hook from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Joyzy.
November 26th, 1972, Family, touring North America as the warm-up act for Elton John, play their last concert on U.S. soil in St. Petersburg, Florida. December 23rd, 1972, Grand Funk Railroad, completing its 1972 tour with the sold-out concert at New York City's Madison Square Garden, with the proceeds from the concert benefiting the Phoenix House Drug Rehabilitation Program, and with the show being filmed for ABC TV's In Concert series. The band is met by a lawsuit taken out by their former manager, Terry Knight, who attempts to block the show from going on, attempting to seize their equipment, and a court injunction is given later in the day, allowing the concert to take place. New Year's Eve. What's that?
It says petty.
Yeah.
Their equipment.
Let's see. On New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1972, the first New Year's Rockin' Eve with Dick Clark airs on NBC before moving to ABC. With Three Dog Night as the featured act, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Helen Reddy, and Al Green also perform.
And a 5-year-old Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah. Let's see. And really nothing else happened in 1970. That was pretty, it was a lot of interesting stuff.
I don't think anything happened after December 31st.
Usually there's a little leftover at the bottom of these lists, this list. It's like also, like it's like an afterthought. Like you couldn't have squeezed it into the timeline. There's always like this group of bullets, and it's all like also in 72. Like why didn't you just put it in the timeline, people?
Lazy editing.
Right. Lazy. Let me jump. See, this is where the laptop comes in. I can jump to different pages. Let's see. Bands that formed in 1972. ABBA. Yeah. Ace.
How long
has it been going on?
One hit wonder.
Boom, boom.
Alabama.
They were one of the groups that ruined country.
Yeah.
Look how long it took them to do it from 72 until whenever. They were determined to ruin country music.
Average white band, pick up the pieces.
People still don't know they're Scottish.
They're Scottish, yeah.
I know.
Scottish.
Captain and Tennille, 70s hottie.
Yeah.
Tony Tennille.
That's
Tony
right.
Tennille was a 70s. She had that haircut, that
bangs.
what's her name? The
boy.
figure skater, the Dorothy Hamill haircut.
Hamill. That was called a wedge.
Is that what it was?
I think it was called a wedge. Yeah.
Yeah. I think once Dorothy Hamill won the gold medal in figure skating and everyone started calling it like the Hamill or something. I don't know.
It was the Mark Hamill. Yeah, that too.
It's the
It's
Mark Hamill. Oh, God. E Street Band is formed in 1972.
Yep.
Free, the band Free.
Mm-hmm.
It's formed in 72.
They didn't last long.
No. The Jam. 1972 they were formed, yeah.
You just got me on that one.
Yeah, right?
I was surprised at that.
Talk about bands from the difference in music. They weren't, they weren't the Jam that we know.
No. And Love Unlimited Orchestra.
What was their big hit? It was a disco.
It was Barry White in the Love Unlimited Orchestra.
Okay.
Except when he started singing with it, that's when it became Barry White and the Love Unlimited. But he was conducting them, I believe. Let's see what I have here. Bands that broke up. I already said that. No, I didn't. Bands that broke up in 1972 are Creedence Clearwater Revival, Jefferson Airplane.
Kinda.
Yeah.
They kind of broke up.
Stevie Van Zandt, Little Steven, born in Winthrop, Massachusetts.
Did not know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
the Winthrop Hospital. Yeah. I actually went in Wikipedia and put a little bullet in there about that. Yeah.
Cool.
I contributed to Wikipedia. Look at me.
Yeah,
But did you donate? Did you give $1?
No, they ain't getting my fucking money.
I don't give it to them either.
Bunch of liberal communists. What? No. Here we go again. No, I'm just kidding, Wikipedia. Because someday Milk Crates and Turntables is going to be in Wikipedia.
Yes,
that's my goal.
You can add it,
We should, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Why not?
All of a sudden, viewership jumps like by 7.
Have the chronology, the members.
Yeah. Martha and the Vandellas break up in 1972. MC5 breaks up in 1972.
Whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. Overrated, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Break out the
pretty
jam.
much.
Like, isn't that like the big song?
Blue Oyster Cult did it better than they did.
Yes.
Yeah. Them breaks up in 1972.
Van Morrison.
Leading to Van Morrison's solo career. And the Velvet Underground breaks up in 1972.
Who cares?
Exactly. Again.
I'm not a big Lou Reed fan. I know they're so influential in these circles, but
Lou was all right. I mean, one of the best concert albums ever, Rock and Roll Animal.
Yeah.
Great concert. I mean, one of the best intros to a song ever is Sweet Jane, the intro to Sweet Jane on that album.
He just suffered
it's
from
not long
classic.
enough. It's not long enough for me.
It is the longest, one of the longest intros ever.
Oh, good Lord.
He just suffered classic rock burnout, like the radio stations. They just played a couple singles from him.
I don't know. And then you get him in the 80s and he's like, and I love you, Suzanne.
Yeah.
I love you in the
Dirty
morning.
Boulevard.
Love you in the noontime.
Well,
and he's like dancing. I'm like, that Lou, what are you doing?
Well, he also moved. He moved to New Jersey. He lived there. He was like New York City guy. He moved to the suburbs of New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he got ridiculed. And then he did those Honda scooter commercials.
Oh.
Lou Reed on a scooter.
Yeah.
Buster Badass on that scooter with his leather jacket on the dirty boulevard.
Let's see. Let me move over to here. Albums that came out in 1972. So I might not have all of them, but I'm going to go month to month. And I know you guys have your lists, right? So, of course.
I'm just going to cross out whatever you say.
Yeah, but feel free to comment on them. I mean, that's,
By the way, Scott,
yeah.
There's one album I'm not going to bring up because I know Lou's going to bring up. That's all I'm saying. Let him bring it up. He knows what I'm talking
now
about.
I can't wait.
I know. I do.
Now I can't wait.
It's number one on my list.
And there's one movie he's going to bring up.
Well, you know what? Let's start.
There's an album. There's an album.
I could build this up, but I got to jump right into it. Lou, give us the album.
The debut album by Blue Oyster Cult. the eponymously titled Blue Oyster Cult. Hang on.
With the classic track, She's as Beautiful as a Foot.
Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll. The whole thing. The other one is Andy Williams, the love song from The Godfather. It's actually an album. Of course, the movie came out in 1972 as well.
Yeah, it did. That's right. Yeah.
So you know that theme song. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the title of that song?
I don't. The theme from The Godfather.
Yeah, right. That's what I knew it as. It's called "Speak Softly, Love."
Oh, look at
Softly, Love.
Check out the brain on Lou. You're a smart motherfucker.
Yeah, thanks. I'm hungry.
Yeah. Let's see. Music by Carole. This is in January. Music by Carole King came out in 1972. So she must have had 2 albums that year.
It's called Music?
Yeah. She had 1 album called Music, and then Tapestry came out probably later on, right? Yeah, it did. She had 2. American Pie, Don McLean. Can anyone name another song off that album?
Narcissisma.
Look at Lou. Fucking Lou is just like, Mark, what's wrong with you?
That's like the album that has by Harry Chapin. What's his big hit? Cats in the Cradle. Name another song off. Name another song off that album.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
right.
Fucking worst song ever.
I got American Pie. I got American Pie for Christmas. That was my first cassette album. My dad got me a cassette player, and I got that album for Christmas. The only song I liked was American Pie. Everything else was like, what is this? It was not quite for a 10-year-old.
But that dude made a boatload of money on that.
Yeah. What's that?
Good documentary that I just watched recently. I mentioned it a few shows back on American Pie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And where he says at the end, that God basically, the meaning of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost took the last train for the coast. Basically meaning God sold out and he's going to L.A. And I had some Christian friends that didn't like that. I put that out there and I was like, what's that? It's your interpretation. I said, no, this is the guy that wrote the songs. And they're like, well, that's his interpretation. I'm like, but he wrote the song, so his interpretation is really the only one that matters. And then I showed the clip of him actually saying that, and they're like, they still refuse to believe that. It's amazing how people hang on to something from a song.
Yeah.
Right?
They're thinking genuflecting, all that stuff. But Don McLean is actually Jewish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So he wouldn't acknowledge the Son because Jesus, according to the Jewish religion, is not the Son of God.
A Jew with the last name McLean. I got to look into my history.
Have you done what's a new DNA test?
I don't know. They will never get my DNA.
I haven't done it. My brother did.
I let my cousin do it. He's the one that's like, we got Viking in our blood. I was like, okay.
I have Western
Dude, look,
Asian.
yeah, I could see you on a little boat coming into the English Channel.
Yeah,
we're here to kill all of you right now.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna let my beard grow in that whole thing. I'm like, nah, I can't do that.
Throw logs on Sunday afternoon for fun.
Yeah. So where I I work with the horses now, the therapy horses, and one of the women that does it, she teaches yoga with horses, and she's very good. And she has this horse, and it's a what kind of horse is it? It's like a Clydesdale. It's in that kind of family, right? It's not as big. It's not as tall as a Clydesdale.
Yeah.
But this thing is like white with like black on it. It's got one blue eye.
Oh, cool.
And I'm like, that is a fucking Viking horse if I ever saw one. It's got the fur around the hooves.
Right.
Take a picture for us.
I will. You know what? I will. That I'm like, if I ride any horse, it's going to be that one. That is a fucking Viking horse right there. Yeah.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Years, long time ago. Right now, I'm just doing groundwork with them, and that's what I really like, because it's more of the behavioral aspect and figuring them out, and that you never can though. But it's and then watching how they really do help people. Like we have veterans that come in with PTSD, and we have treatment centers that come in, and like you get these guys, and they're just like, this is so fucking cool. And then it's such it's almost like it's kind of an under the radar type therapy, but it's really fucking amazing stuff.
I'm sure. I went to a farm, and there were goats, old, young, and they all came and surrounded me, and I wasn't afraid, but it was the coolest thing. But the smell for one thing, but you're like,
smell like a goat. We used to say that.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're not threatening, but they actually like you. They're But to be surrounded,
but horses are just so powerful.
Oh yeah,
like just to be next to you. This guy today, he even said, he goes, "Wow, this is amazing." When you're up close with them, and they're just standing there, and they're very mellow, and they're just very calming.
They're huge.
Yeah, fucking powerful.
It's a big animal.
Yeah.
I got kicked in the stomach by a Shetland pony when I was a kid.
That hurts.
It fucking hurt.
I don't know if we have time, but someday you got to tell me that story.
All right, let's get back to the show. Yeah. Albums that came out in January 1972. We always get, this is why this shit runs 2.5 hours.
Yeah, right.
We get all these rabbit holes, and it's like, Jesus. Let's see. Led Zeppelin 4 came out in 72 in January. Chicago at Carnegie Hall.
I got that. That's a great.
Yeah. George Harrison and Friends, Concert for Bangladesh. I got that album. Cat Stevens, Teaser and the Fire Cat. Carole King, Tapestry. Sly and the Family Stone, There's a Riot Going On.
Yeah.
Probably, arguably, most definitely the coolest band ever.
Yeah.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah.
Just the absolute coolest band ever.
Interracial band.
But so smooth. Smooth and so cool. And
they weren't slick, though. They weren't slick.
No. Let's see. Grand Funk, E Pluribus Funk came out.
Round record cover, just like a
I
got that. Yeah.
Good.
Any notable songs on that?
I can't remember.
He's drinking wine out of a fucking.
It came out. No, it's actually a whiskey glass.
That 72
out of a mason jar.
That's what they down here.
Might as well.
Come down by me. Come there. We do the mason jar.
Yeah.
TV soundtrack, All in the Family came out.
Soundtrack.
Yeah.
So they got the theme like for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Like what else could there be? Is it the first EP? Is it the first extended?
It's probably 20 minutes long, 10 minutes aside. It's got snippets of the show.
Oh.
It's got Gene Stapleton singing opera.
Let's see. February 1972. Let me see. They already had this one. Music. Hot Rocks. 64 to 71. Rolling Stones.
The first one. Yeah.
Faces. A Nod's as Good as a Wink to a Blind Horse.
Oh, that's a good album.
It is.
I love that.
It is a good album.
Yeah. Maggie's Farm. Oh, God.
Yes. Fragile came out.
Yeah. Monster.
Yes. Name the songs on that album, Mark.
Roundabout, going into, I can't remember the name of the Rick Wakeman, South Side of the Sky, Long Distance Runaround, The Fish, Heart of the Sunrise. Yeah.
That's the album that launched them.
Yeah.
No doubt. That's the album that launched them.
Those were prog rock songs on the radio. They were hit prog rock songs.
It's
Yes,
amazing.
That's not been done much.
You hear Roundabout all 8 minutes to this day on the radio. Yeah.
A friend of mine, I mentioned him on Facebook the other day. It's an Italian kid from South Philly, right? Grew up as South Philly as you could get.
I like him already.
Huge Yes fan. Huge Yes fan. My friend Dominic Marty.
That was a warring camp. There were ELP fans and Yes fans. And I never got that because I love them both. It's like they just great.
He said something about he didn't like them before so-and-so left the band or until somebody came into the band. Or there was something that you Yes fans always kind of.
Prog fans, I told you, Scott, they're opinionated. You don't get 5 prog guys in a row.
I didn't like it after so-and-so. Yeah.
If you had to choose between Yes and ELP, if you had to, what would you pick?
Sophie's choice here. Sophie's choice.
Let me tell you something. The guys in ELP, I grew up with Keith Emerson. That was a death that made me cry. Greg Lake. Mm-hmm. But I realized years later that Yes just have a bigger volume of work because ELP fizzled out in like 74 after brain salad surgery. Yes kept going, until they in the 80s.
Well, yeah, they did.
So I got to go with Yes, but it's tough, ELP's in my blood.
All right. Let's see. Low Spark, of High-Heeled Boys, Traffic.
I don't care. I don't care for them so much.
Really?
I like that album.
Traffic.
It's jazzy.
Ambivalent.
All right. Yeah. Lou is just like, he used the word ambivalent.
You know what ambivalent is? It's this, the sideways.
It's not even down.
It's not.
Yeah, that's ambivalent.
Ambivalent.
Caesar says ambivalent.
You care less.
And Madman Across the Water, Elton John. That came out in February 1972. Yeah. Let's see. You know what? They have albums that came out in England too. At the same time, like T-Rex, Electric Warrior. Let's see. Jimi Hendrix in the West. Paul Simon came out. They released that in February of 72.
That's kind of strange.
Right? Imagine John Lennon was released in February 72 in England.
In England, okay.
Yeah. Bridge Over Troubled Waters was released in England in February 72.
That was like 1970 in America.
Yeah, right?
Huh.
Neil Reed. Oh, so March. What's that?
Paul Simon's record also came out in America in 72, though.
Yeah.
Later.
But later, yeah.
Because he always refers to himself as Paul Simon, doesn't he?
Yeah, he talks in third person.
Rod Stewart's Every Picture Tells a Story was released in January in England.
One of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah, that's a great song. Yeah. Although my wife recently, I was listening to the song, and it's Every Picture Tells a Story, don't it?
With Maggie Bell
singing. Every Picture Tells a Story, don't it? Yeah. And we pulled into the driveway, and the song's still on, and I turned it off, and she says, that was a very irritating song. But God bless her, she loves me that much that she didn't say a word. She didn't say, turn this off, turn that off. She didn't say any of it. She just waited till we got home, until the song was over. And listen, God bless her.
We have to thank Dr. Vera tonight because this laptop is really helping you. It really is.
Oh, excellent.
I can tell. So thank you.
Yeah.
Instead of doing this little,
Did you say
on my iPad. I would try to scroll into my iPad.
Lighten up your glasses.
And one of my best friends, Mark Talent, again, where's fucking Jack?
Yeah.
You know what? It's like, where's Izzy? Right? And the Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Oh, the sign. Where's Izzy? Where's Jack? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not joking. Haven't heard from him in a little while. So
now it's time to start some tinfoil hat stuff. We think you know.
We think you know. Let me see. Did I say? Okay, in March 1972, Harvest by Neil Moon came out. Neil Young. Who did I say?
Neil Moon.
Did I say Neil Moon?
You're thinking of Harvest Moon.
Holy shit. Harvest Moon. Yeah. Okay.
I like that name, Neil Moon. That's kind of cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Moon with his new album, Young.
Nilsson Schmilsson came out in 72.
Yep.
America came out in March of 72. Let me see. Oh my God.
That was that album was the number one album. The first single was a number one hit.
Yeah.
No name.
What a way to start. And they just never really reached that again.
They had number ones, yeah. A few number one singles, but that was
like, yeah. This one. I fucking hate. Baby, I'ma Want You by Bread. That album came out. Oh,
I kind of like Bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Guitar Man? No. What's the other one? I will give everything.
Yeah, didn't we go through this last week? You have to dredge this up.
Did we talk about? Did we?
I think we did. Yeah, I think Bread. Or 2 weeks ago, I think Bread was talked about. Yeah, 2 shows ago. Now in March, Paul Simon comes out in America, right? And Hot Rocks 64 to 71 comes out, a month later in America, March. Whereas they were released. Now, let's see, in England, all the same. Thick as a Brick, Jethro Tull came out in February. Oh, no, March in England. Your love's
in the gutter and your sperm's in the sink.
Thick as a brick.
Yeah.
April 1972. Albums that came out. This is the First Take by Roberta Flack. Eat a Peach, Allman Brothers Band, came out in 72. Let's Stay Together, Al Green.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Great band on that record.
And in England, let's see what came out. The New Seekers, We'd Like to Teach the World to Sing. Deep Purple, Machine Head came out in England in
the best
April.
driving song of all time on it.
Highway Star. Highway Star, yeah. Yep. That came out in, what did I say, in March? April.
One of the best
in England.
of all time.
Gilbert O'Sullivan himself, the album himself came out.
Gilberto.
Yeah. And those are the lyrics that will live on forever. 25 years old, my God rest his soul. You're like, give me the fucking razor blade, buddy.
That's like Captain Jack to me, Billy Joel.
You told me that, yeah. I don't look at Captain Jack.
I know you like Captain Jack.
As depressing as fucking that Alone Again Naturally or the one that Cats in the Cradle. Don't even give me a razor blade. Just give me a fucking axe to just mutilate, just cut my hands off and just bleed out faster. Fuck. Slade Alive came out. Slade Alive. And T-Rex came out with maybe one of the longest names for an album ever. Prophets, seers, and sages, the angels of my ages, my people were fair and had sky in their hair, but now. In there, but hair, but now. Whatever. Like, it's a fucking whole album cover.
Aren't they? Was that a whole album of Quiet Riot covers?
No,
that's Slade.
T-Rex, that was Slade.
That was Slade.
Slade, yeah.
I've actually got that album and I've listened to it and I can't. It's just not that good.
Let's see what albums came out in May of 72 in the United States. Did I say First Take? Yep, by Roberta Flack. Some of these are repetitive. Yeah. Graham Nash, David Crosby came out with David Crosby. Graham Nash, David Crosby. Manassas by Stephen Stills.
Super group.
Yeah.
Excellent album.
Do you know who was in Manassas?
No.
Stephen Stills, Chris Hillman of the Byrds, Dallas Taylor of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Joe Lala. He's a well-known percussionist. A guy named Fuzzy Samuels, bass player. He played with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. He played with America. You know the song "It Doesn't Matter Which of Our." That was the big song from Manassas, but that was an attempt at a super group.
Yeah, good album though.
Good album, yeah.
The album "Smokin'" by Humble Pie came out. Humble Pie.
That was latter day Humble Pie. They lost some members along the way at that point.
Yeah.
Steve Marriott was in it.
Frampton was still in them, right?
Nope, not at that point.
No, he quit that early. Oh.
And then in May, Thick as a Brick came out in America. Let's see what came out in England. Let's see. Bowlin' Boogie by T-Rex.
How many freaking albums did they put out that year?
Well, they were big in England. They were just pumping them out in England, yeah.
Well, a lot of people were putting out 2 albums a year at that point.
Yeah, yeah. The record companies they were hitting them.
Not like every 7 years now.
Then in the United Kingdom, in May, "Cherish" by David Cassidy came out.
Ooh,
in England.
Cherish.
Yeah.
I got my original copy signed.
June. Let's see, June 1972 albums that came out.
That would be the month that I turned 3.
Jesus, okay. Joplin in concert, Janis Joplin. She died soon after this, I believe, right? Didn't she die in 72?
Her and Hendrix, they both died.
I thought she died during it.
During what?
The concert? Oh,
I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Not a fan either. Overrated. Overrated. That was one ugly dude.
Oh,
one ugly dude.
Scott.
Maybe the worst mouth in rock and roll.
Worse.
Bowser had a better mouth than Janis.
Worse everything. I would date Bowser before I dated Janis Joplin.
We got to get an audio clip of that one.
I would. I'll tell you that. Listen, if there was a choice, If it was the three of us on Earth, and it's like, who are you going to pair up with? It ain't going to be Janis Joplin.
Yeah, with a little work, we can make it say, I would love to date Bowser.
She's uglier than a bag of skunk assholes.
Oh. Whoa. That was a good one. I gotta remember that.
Let's see. Exile on Main Street.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones came out in June 1972.
That's the second favorite album of theirs.
Yeah.
Yep.
A Lonely Man by the Shy Lights.
Oh, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. History of Eric Clapton came out.
I have that.
There was a thing called that? I don't remember.
It's got some rare cuts on it.
It's got blues power on it.
But it's also got like sessions he did with blues guitarists too.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Roberta Flack's album, Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway, came out in June 1972.
Where's the love?
Where is the love?
That song.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. What came out in the United Kingdom in June 1972? Honky Chateau by Elton John. 20 dynamic hits by various artists.
What label?
Like who? Who are the various artists?
Yeah.
Tony Orlando and Dawn.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's move into July. We have a lot of these. Still Bill by Bill Withers came out in July 1972.
Yep.
Live in concert with the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra, Procol Harum.
Yes.
Who broke up in like 92 or something. Didn't I just do that last week? It's like,
yeah, they did.
They broke up like some crazy, like they were still together.
They reformed in the 80s and made like really weird music, like 80s production music, and it was terrible.
The Yardbirds reformed. Remember that? They put out an album in the 80s. It was horrible.
They did.
It was horrible. Yeah, that was a resurgence in these old guys. They just, let's make some echoey drums and we'll play out some albums.
Yeah, all tried to be relevant in the 80s again.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen.
No. Also in July 1972, the album Portrait of Donnie by Donny Osmond came out.
Ooh. Wow.
That's a summer album, right? Donny Osmond, you have David Cassidy, First Take by Roberta Flack came out in July 1972. Let's see what came out over across the pond in July 72. It seems like Greatest Hits, Simon and Garfunkel. Trilogy by Emerson, Lake and Palmer came out in the UK in July 72.
That's that. You ever see when you open the gatefold and you see the picture of them in the park on the inside repeating, like it's them over and over and over? It's one of the best gatefold pictures ever.
Right.
And Tom Spallone on his YouTube channel did his own version from the beginning, and he put himself in that.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did a great job. He did it right after Greg Lake died as tribute.
Where's his YouTube channel?
Just look up Tom Spallone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I spell it wrong like they did on the album that he got a credit on?
Stallone. I got Mark. I beat you, Schmitty. I beat you. Yeah, we're at this professional rivalry. I mastered a Stevie Wonder album. It was the soundtrack to Jungle Fever, and comes out and he gets it. And Tom Stallone.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I felt bad for him.
Let's see. Did I say Simon and Garfunkel's Greatest Hits? Yeah. Elvis at Madison Square Garden came out in the UK in July 72. And I think we already said Exile on Main Street in the UK. Then in August, Honky Chateau comes out in the US. In August 1972, School's Out by Alice Cooper, one of the preeminent kids of that generation must-have albums.
Yes,
yes. With the album cover where the desk opens up.
Yep.
Right, and there was an insert in that album that nobody can find. It was a pair of plastic panties that when you open the desk, they were in there, and nobody can try to find an album that has that insert.
Oh,
yeah,
probably worth a lot of money.
Yeah, it's as far as albums go, but yeah, that's hard to find.
He did a lot of those because I have Muscle of Love, which was a cardboard album, and you opened it up and it had the Institute of Nude Volleyball or something.
Yeah. The inserts were big sells back then.
Yeah.
They were big sells, like you mentioned earlier, Mark, Big Bamboo. Like I have a copy with and without the rolling paper.
Yep.
Right.
The giant, because everybody used it. Everybody that got that album, most everybody used it. Let's see. August, Chicago 5 came out.
They're already on 5 by then.
They're already on 5 by 1972. Yeah. Don't they have the record for consecutive years releasing albums? It's like Chicago, like 27 now or something. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know if they've stopped, but I think they still put out an album a year.
Wow.
Probably now they don't even need a record company to do it. They just kind of just put it out there.
They got their own label. They do their own thing now.
Yeah.
They're not as good as that Russian band that does the covers of them now.
Oh, really?
Ever see this? I don't know the name of the band. It's a Russian band. They cover Chicago. Like, it's amazing.
Chicago.
Horrible accent, Mark. Horrible.
That was Russian.
German?
Yeah, really.
Well, I am half German.
Comrade, more Eastern Russian.
Yeah, comrade. If you leave me now.
If you leave me now.
25 or 624.
25 or 624. Good one. Let's see. Exile on Main Street. Moods by Neil Diamond came out.
Who cares?
I know.
You know what? I got that on CD. You know what?
You have Neil Diamond on CD?
Back in the day when dollar stores were really good, they were. Listen.
Gotcha. Penalty box for Mark Smith.
Got a Neil Diamond record.
Penalty box.
I have to talk to Perry about Music Relish with him now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Mark was ready tonight. Mark was ready tonight. Look at.
Oh yeah.
He had the guitar ready tonight. Yeah. Because he knew he was going in the penalty box.
I think he has to explain himself now, though. Why he has a Neil Diamond record?
Remember when dollar stores first started? They were great because they were mom and pop, and they were just getting shit from everywhere. So you would get CDs, like they would get them from the CDs that didn't sell. So I was flipping through, and I saw Neil Diamond, his old shit before he got popular. So I bought that on CD, and I played it, it once, and I put it away. Probably can't find it. It sucked. Yeah. I like some Neil Diamond, but
of course, yeah. I mean,
Jazz Singer is a great album. Sorry. Love on the Rocks.
Don't make me do it again.
Oh, no. Moving on. A Song for You by the Carpenters. I hate that song. Come to America.
Leon Russell song.
Yes.
I'll be singing this song for you.
Yep. The Carpenters. That came out in August of 1972. Looking Through the Windows. Jackson 5. The Peeper. Oh, being a peeper. Let's see.
Gary Glitter put it out on the album 72.
Yeah, Gary Glitter. He'll pop up here, I'm sure. He's going to pop up somewhere.
He doesn't get the green room for that one. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, I curse. Sorry.
But it's true. He put out an album.
Yeah. Over in the UK, in August 1972, Never a Dull Moment, Rod Stewart.
Good album.
The Slider, T-Rex. Are they putting out an album a month?
They put a ton of them out. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Was that contractual obligations?
I don't know, but this is like
them up.
This summer, like just from the beginning of the year, this is like the third, fourth album.
Scott said it right. He was huge, so just keep putting out the albums.
Yeah.
And they sell.
They should still be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Artists won't do that though. They're prima donnas. I don't have to work that hard. Over in the UK in August 72, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars was released. And Bridge Over Troubled Waters by Simon & Garfunkel was released. Then you move over to September in the United States. Big Bamboo, Cheech and Chong. Never a Dull Moment, Rod Stewart. Leon Russell came out with Carney. Neil Diamond came out with Moods.
Did you have that one too, Mark?
No, I didn't. Okay. I only had albums I liked.
And then Honky Chateau was released in the United States in September by Elton John. Trilogy, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. 7 Separate Fools by Three Dog Night was 72.
Yep.
Carlos Santana and Buddy Miles Live was released in September 72.
Wow.
Yeah.
One long solo.
Yeah. Over in the UK, nothing. Looks like Slade Alive might be the only one that they haven't mentioned yet. Some of these, I don't know how they're repetitive, but October in the United States, Now Carney comes out by Leon Russell a month later, right? Was Superfly soundtrack by Curtis Mayfield. Superfly. I'm your pusher.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm your pusher. I'm your rally. I'm that nigga in the alley. Can I say that?
Yeah.
It's my show. I don't have.
You can say whatever you want.
That's right.
Well, John Lennon's big single in 1972 out of somewhere in New York City was Woman is the Nigger of the World.
That's right. That's right. How come that doesn't get canceled? Nope.
Yeah.
No, that's John Lennon. King of the liberals.
Make him dance.
Here we go again. Let me see. Days of Future Past.
I'm just listening. Blues. I'm a fan now. I'm listening. Come on.
Yeah. Days of Future Past came out by the Moody Blues in October.
I thought it was earlier than that.
Are they in the Hall of Fame?
Moody Blues?
I don't think they are.
I don't know.
I think they are. You keep talking. I'll check.
All right.
I thought, yeah, they should be. I'm not a fan, but.
All Directions by the Temptations came out in October 1972. Let me see. 7 Separate Fools by Three Dog Night.
With the single Black and White?
What's that? With the single Black and White, yeah. Yep. And the London Chuck Berry Sessions came out in October in the U.S.
Those London sessions are great. Yeah. I have the Howlin' Wolf one where Eric Clapton's playing with him and he's scared shitless and he's trying to play a riff and he's picking on Clapton. He's like, you throw yourself a blues man?
Oh.
And like, I can't play it. I can't play it. Like he was quaking. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That one had Charlie Watts on drums, Bill Wyman on bass. That was a great album.
Was My Ding-a-ling on that one?
No. I'm talking about Howlin' Wolf. Oh. By the way, Moody Blues were inducted in 2018.
2018? That took a long time.
Yeah. Of course, because they're a classic rock and roll band. It takes forever for them to get in.
So how does Clapton get such a big reputation for a guitar player, but you get like Chuck Berry, dogging him? And
I think Eric Clapton, he hit it big with Cream. I had to be removed from it. I grew up with Clapton in the 70s, Slow Hand and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But then I look back and someone's like, Cream, he was Clapton's God, was written all over England. Yeah. And then that stayed with him as a guitar hero. Yeah. And he's talented. Yeah,
he's talented, no doubt.
He did lose that edge early on in his career. He wasn't, he was just laid back.
I think there was also that Clapton is God where he was known in England. I mean, like a lot of word of mouth could do a lot back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
It had to. But he did a thing where he sequestered himself away for a year and a half and came out on the other side.
Well, he was doing heroin, and
he's like he's one of those guys that he went obsessive on his instrument. And I guess if you do that, you'll for a year and a half you'll come out.
Oh, that yeah.
So he came out of that scene, but then started that word of mouth and reputation, and Cream too. I mean, you can't deny the power of that.
Yeah. Let's see. Over in the UK, Close to the Edge by Yes came out.
Oh, there's another one.
And Black Sabbath Volume 4 came out over in the UK.
Stoner album of theirs.
Yeah.
My first image of Black Sabbath was looking through my sister's albums, and I saw the cover, and I thought they were like a hippie band, because on the cover, Ozzy's like, he's like doing that, and what is this, some hippie band?
Yeah.
Good album. Though.
Snowblind. Isn't Snowblind on that
Snowblind, Changes, that ballad. Yeah.
Let's see. November 1972, Catch Bull at 4 by Cat Stevens.
Big album.
Yeah. All Directions by the Temptations. Then, a month after it came out in the UK, Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues came out. This album, I can't believe this was an album because it's only known for one song, and that's the title song, the Ben by Michael Jackson, based on a stupid movie.
Best song ever written about a rat.
They should have just left Will It alone, because that was a good movie in itself for its time.
Ben, you're always running here and there.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Wait, but Lou, sitting on that couch and singing that, it's disturbing.
Rat.
Let's see. Rock of Ages by Band. That's all they got it.
Great live album.
Yeah.
Unleash the Lou on this one.
Why do they just tell you? But they just wrote band, not the band.
It's the band.
Is it really?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck, people?
That's a great album. Was that the Academy of Music?
Yeah.
It's got Alan Toussaint did the horn arrangements, but they did the album with a horn section.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
If you're a band fan, it's it's cream.
Yeah. Never a Dull Moment finally came out in the U.S. a month later by Rod Stewart. Rhymes and Reasons by Carole King came out in the U.S. in 1972.
So she had 3 albums that year.
3 albums, yeah. And then a month later, the London Chuck Berry sessions were released in the U.S. Then you jump over to across the pond. What do we have? Anything? Let's see. Back and Front, Gilbert O'Sullivan. The Best of Bread.
Baby, I'm
Great
gonna
album.
need you.
Guitar Man.
Baby, I'm gonna need you.
In December 1972, getting to the end of the year, 7th Sojourn by the Moody Blues.
Sojourn.
Sojourn.
Yeah.
Is there an R in there? No, it's Joum.
I thought it was Sojourn.
Is it RN? Is it RN?
It's RN, yeah.
All right.
Sojourn meaning a journey.
They have it here. Sojoum.
Sojourn.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like sorghum. Is it a gluten-free album?
Sojourn and Gomorrah? I don't know. Let's see. All Directions by the Temptations.
4th time you're mentioning that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. They just keep repeating these
It came
things.
out in Yugoslavia that year.
Number 1 in Yugoslavia.
Living in the Past, Jethro Tull.
Let's go.
Did I say Close to the Edge by Yes?
Yeah, you did.
I did? Okay.
One of my favorites. And what song was off that? And You and I. One of their best song.
And I think I mentioned this at the beginning. Summer Breeze, Steels and Crofts.
You did not.
Yeah, Summer Breeze came out in December. Okay.
Wow. Summer Breeze in December. That's good. Yeah.
Hummingbird was on that
and Caravancieri by Santana.
Yeah, hit the album that made him not popular anymore. It was a jazzy album.
Really?
Yeah, very jazzy. Like a Miles Davis of that period. Very experimental.
Yeah. Well, he ran his course with me. Let's see. What do you guys got for stuff?
Lou, you want to go first?
Sure. Jackson Brown's self-titled his debut album.
Jackson Brown.
72 with Doctor My Eyes and Rock Me on the Water.
And I got a sty in my eye tonight, and you're talking about Doctor My
Eyes.
Yeah.
Poison. Dave Edmunds put out the album called Rock Pile that had I Hear You Knocking on it.
Recorded.
I hear you knocking.
Recorded at Rockford Studios in Wales, which we
Rockford.
discussed on the show.
Like Rockford Files. Harry Chapin put out the album Hearts and Tales with the song Taxi on it. Remember the song Taxi?
Great song.
It's a great song.
Great song. It is.
I put on my Facebook page a couple weeks ago. I had some friends just disparage it. I'm like,
no, that's a great song.
It's a great story.
And then I love, what is it? She handed me $20 for a $2.50 fare and said, "Harry, keep the change."
Another man
might have been angry, and another man might have been sad, but another man never would have let her go.
That's pretty good
the bill in my
imitation.
shirt.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's pretty good, Harry Chapin.
I got it. I got skills. I told you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the lead singer.
My favorite song of Harry's is 20,000 Pounds of Bananas. Nothing beats it.
That's great.
I'm only
Like, it's like me with Nilsson. It's Lime in the Coconut. I just love that fucking song. I really do.
Only Kermit the Frog can sing that.
I love that fucking song. I don't know why. And everybody misinterprets the song.
You get in your head and you can't get it out of your head.
I think a lot of parrot heads like that song too.
Yeah.
Get out of it. Well, they're all
it's islandy.
parrot heads are done. They're done.
No, there's going to be a thing now. It's remembering Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Okay. You guys know who Lee Michaels is or was?
Do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? That was a 2-piece band.
Yep, it was like the precursor to White Stripes in a weird way. It was
Yeah, it was
drums
an
and Hammond
organist and
organ.
a drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know who the drummer was?
No,
Bartholomew Smith Frost.
from or to join.
What's that?
Did you join like a band after that was?
Oh, I don't know. It was just something where it was a drummer and a keyboard player. There was this
I
guy
love that
named
name, Bartholomew Smith Frost.
Bartholomew Smith Frost.
BSF.
BSF. Let's see. Rock of Ages. We said that one, right? America did the album, put out the album Homecoming with Ventura Highway on it and Don't Cross the River.
Ventura Highway.
Steely Dan. Can't Buy a Thrill.
Robert Kirkman says that Parrot Heads are going to be like Deadheads.
They're dead.
No,
There's going to have to be a Jimmy Buffett tribute band or something.
Deadheads beat the hell out of Parrot Heads.
Huh, they don't
Parrot
even
Heads
fight.
don't care about music, but
Deadheads don't fight though. They don't fight.
Oh, I seen them.
How about this?
Trust
I've seen Sisters
like
Demise.
this.
I saw some blood.
There's a lot of closet. There's a lot of closet Parrot Heads. I think it's a guilty pleasure thing.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah.
I've seen them on my Facebook page. A lot of people like paying tribute to them. Like you're a Parrot Head.
So Lou, you just mentioned Steely Dan, and I sent you guys that clip today of Kid Charlemagne live last night in Boston. Somebody posted it. I was like, what the fuck?
Did you share it on my Facebook page?
I think I texted. I sent you a text.
Yeah. You know what? For such a perfectionist,
you and Mark, I sent you guys a text.
Yeah, for such a perfectionist, the guy that spent a 1 year recording one solo, why is he letting it get? Well, it could have been one bad show though.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think he's just mailing it in. He's doing it for the money.
I talked to somebody today that saw at the Madison Square Garden the Eagles and
Steely Dan.
I can't say Steely Dan because Becker's not there.
Yeah.
And he's a Steely Dan fan. He said, I have to say that the Eagles.
Uh-oh.
Mark's cutting out.
He's cutting out.
He's frozen.
Am I frozen?
Uh-oh.
There you go. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
just shaking my head so you can see. So he said that he went. How am I?
You're
am I
good.
still there? Okay.
Yeah.
Saying I'm having connection issues. Anyway, he said he went as a Steely Dan fan, but he said the Eagles were better. And I think what he meant was Steely Dan didn't sound so good. I think, the heart of the band, the soul of the band is gone. It's just a bunch of studio guys around.
Yeah. How old is Fagan now?
It's got to be 75 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to see how these old guys can sing at that age.
Yeah.
He said Don Henley had it. Don Henley sang perfect. They set their bar very high.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Don Henley is very vain, and the day he can't sing, he won't tour anymore. He doesn't want to be up there doing less. Yeah.
In 1972, the Eagles put out their debut album.
Yeah.
Produced by Glyn Johns.
Glyn Johns, yeah. The legendary Glyn Johns. I got
a lot of people don't know, recorded in England.
That's right. That's right. Actually, the first two records.
Yeah.
Or two or three, maybe. Whenever they recorded with Glyn Johns, they recorded in England.
Weird to think, yeah.
Jim Croce put out You Don't Mess Around with Jim. He was really, I think he was really good. Yeah. Right.
I had that argument with Jack, and I still to this day say I'm right. He was going to be huge.
Yes, he was.
And Jack said, you can't, whoa, you can't say that because he was going to be huge.
Yeah. He got the posthumous bump, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But those songs, I mean, the quality of the writing, Time in the Bottle's on that. That is a beautiful song. The guitar playing.
All of it is.
All of it is. Yeah.
One of the most beautiful songs ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. His guitar player, he's a guy, Marty Muehlhausen. A lot of people didn't know that there was a partnership.
Yeah.
Great guitar player. Just beautiful playing. But yeah.
Yeah. And I think Time in the Bottle was, I think that was written to his wife or something.
Wow.
Yeah. What else you got?
Frank Sinatra's version of Bad by Leroy Brown is criminal.
It's criminal.
It's so bad.
I got to look that up.
It's horrible. And something by the Beatles. Oh my god.
Something in the way.
Yeah, he does this guy. He goes, "Stick around, Jack. It will show." He's being a Rat Pack on it.
That's why I like William Shatner. I like his covers.
Yeah.
Nobody can touch him.
Yeah.
He's untouchable.
Yeah. All right, what do you got, Mark?
I got Obscured by Clouds by Pink Floyd. May never have heard of that album. It's one of my favorites of theirs. It was a soundtrack to a very, very low budget French film. Great album. On the Corner by Miles Davis. He was in a funk period, but Miles Davis doing funk was 8-minute jams over a bass line. You know, I loved it. Great stuff. Chick Corea. Now, Lou, you know, Return to Forever, but he put out the album called Return to Forever. So a lot of people say it was their debut. It really wasn't. It was him, very Brazilian influenced.
He's
very
also
haunting album.
The 10 most. He's number 10 on the most Grammy nominated artists of all time.
He deserves everything.
That was weird. So, last week, Scott, we did the most Grammy nominees, the top 10, and Chick Corea, this jazz fusion pianist, was number 10, up there with Jay-Z and Beyonce and.
He
Michael
puts out
Jackson.
quality work. He's put out like 50 albums.
I was surprised. I was surprised. That was pretty cool for someone that's in that realm, you know.
Yeah, and no, he's him and Herbie Hancock. The two of them never aged. So when Chick died, I was shocked. But Herbie Hancock's saying, you see him now, he still looks like he back in the 80s, you know.
Rocket, right? Did you do Rocket?
Yep, Rocket.
That's a cool. That was a cool video. That was considered a wacky, almost groundbreaking video with the robots.
It's creepy
Doing sit-ups or whatever. You remember that one, Scott?
What's that?
Rocket by Herbie Hancock video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With the legs.
Yep.
The legs creepy. And then the dummy.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
Yeah, it was creepy.
There was one robot in there that was going like, it didn't look right. He was just like,
yeah.
What is he doing?
Yeah.
Did you like that? That was my robot imitation.
Yeah, you did good.
Okay. You guys, I don't know if you ever heard of Wishbone Ash, but they put out one of their best albums that year, Argus. Or as you could say, Argus.
English band. They're kind of like proggy, sort of like folky prog, right?
But they had a guitar duo that was almost like the precursor of these heavy metal guitar duos, you know. Genesis put out Foxtrot. Now that had the song Supper's Ready, which is one of the magnum opuses. It's 23 minutes. Mm-hmm. Peter Gabriel claimed he wrote it when him and his wife had a fever and they hallucinated. Come on, they were doing drugs. Come on. He was like hallucinating about the apocalypse, Jesus, and the devil. And come on, you were doing drugs.
Right? Yeah, no doubt.
Okay. In addition to Machine Head, Made in Japan by Deep Purple came out that year. One of the best live albums.
Greatest live album ever.
And that's the first thing I ever heard from Deep Purple. So when I put it on, I heard Highway Star live. And when Blackmore comes in for his solo, you just hear you hear Ian Gillan go, come on. And then you hear just Blackmore turn up the distortion. Doo-doo, you know, and I was like 8 years old. And I'm like, holy shit.
And like I've said this before, the story behind that is they didn't want to do this. They didn't want to do any of it. They didn't want to go to Japan. They didn't want to do an album. They didn't want to do a live album. And they said, all right, if we're going to do it, we're going to use our own engineers. We're going to use our own people. Yeah. And it's not getting edited. It's not going to the studio. You're going to get what you get. And what you get is absolute 100% pure live concerts. 2 nights in Japan. And it was fucking unbelievable.
Back then, people were overdubbing live albums. Even back in
absolutely. Kiss Alive was as overdubbed as it got. Yeah.
I think Gene Simmons said only the drums are live on the album.
Yeah, it's just so overdubbed. But I mean, Made in Japan is pure live album, as pure as it gets. And those guys were fucking on their game that night. The band, the engineers, everybody involved was on their game those 2 nights.
That's what it takes.
And they didn't really listen to it. They didn't listen to it till they got back to the States and they get into and they were like, holy shit. Like this shit came out good.
I think going to Japan, you know, the fans in Japan are crazy about if they like a band, and I think that gave them the confidence.
American rock and roll too.
Went
to Budokan.
Yeah,
that's right. That's launched.
And then they put out Made in Europe. Didn't compare.
They didn't. I think that was a mistake. That was you shouldn't have tried to compare the two. That's kind of
a single album, and you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, Fleetwood Mac put out an album out that year called Bare Trees. I love it. It's got, I think it was the first album with Bob Welch, who I love that sound.
Yeah.
Very good album. And then this is really off the radar, but there's a guy named Milton Nascimento. He's a Brazilian singer, legend. He had put out an album that year called Club de Esquina. Now, somebody introduced me to it like a couple months ago, and I was listening to it. It was a big album in that Brazilian sound. And He did it with a guy with a I can't pronounce this stuff. So, but yeah, that came out, and that's it. That's my albums, and everything else I had on there, like Thick as a Brick.
Yeah.
I Can't Buy a Thrill. I did not mention BOC. I gave that to Lou.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, this show's moving along. 72 wasn't. I mean, there was some great stuff, but it's not as deep as some other years, which is fine.
We might have missed some stuff. I think if anyone's listening, they should let us know. You know.
We don't miss a beat.
Arlo
we don't need the audience. Nah. Let me be modern day Hollywood for a second. Hold on one second. You don't tell us what to do. We tell you what to do. We tell you what's right. You don't tell us what you like and what you don't like. We tell you what you like. And you like Milk Crates and Turntables. And if you don't, you're a racist.
Well, you know what? You're
a music racist.
There were some actors in the 60s saying that. You're going to like my movie. You're going to like it. You're going to like it.
Well, listen, some of those blaxploitation movies are the greatest movies ever. Loved them.
Blackula.
Yep, yeah, and then Blackula Returns, and then Blackula Rises, and
Man with Two Heads.
The Man with Two Heads, great. Rosie Greer.
Oh, that's a great
Rosie
movie.
Greer, Man with Two Heads. Watermelon Man.
Yes, that's right.
With what was his name?
Godfrey Chambers.
Godfrey Chambers. He plays the white guy that turns black. Oh man.
That's friggin' edgy.
You can't get away with that today. Are you kidding me?
No. But remember, it's been so long since I remember the intro when he's just walking around saying all kinds of shit to people.
Yeah.
The way he wakes up and
he's white, right?
Yeah, I see that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, if you've never seen Watermelon Man, dude, that's a classic, man. That is a classic.
He might have died soon after making that movie.
Yeah, he died young.
Yeah,
he did die young. Yeah,
but I mean, the title alone, I mean.
Watermelon Man.
That's a great Herbie Hancock song too, right?
Hey, Mark.
Good call, Mark.
Dun,
yes.
Dun. One of the best samples for rap artists.
Yeah, Watermelon Man. That's right. Wow, good pluck, buddy.
Beady bop bop.
You just saved your whole show just then.
Yeah, well, I was going to say something, but Lou was going to ask me a question.
On Lou Reed's first solo album after he left the Velvets, this is where Rick Wakeman and Steve Howe played on it.
I'm not surprised. Don't forget, Rick Wakeman played on a lot of those early David Bowie albums.
That I knew, but I thought Steve Howe playing with Lou Reed is just kind of weird. Both of them actually.
Yeah, you're right. But Rick Wakeman played on a lot of albums. He might have just said, "Hey, Steve, come on, play with me,"
And they would back then.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you guys were going to mention movies, but could I mention a couple of the ones?
Absolutely.
I'm going to leave the big one alone for Lou. We know what one that is. But,
Deliverance.
That was my first one. I was going to say
Deliverance.
Just seeing Ned Beatty in his whitey tighties or tighty whities.
I can't believe that was 72. For some, I would have thought if you had asked me, I would have said like 74, 75.
Me too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What made that movie funky to me, aside from all the stuff, was
a kid.
Remember in the early 70s when a scene was supposed to be at night and they would just darken the day shot, so they were supposed to be, you could tell it was daytime, but they darkened the film. It was eerie when they did that. It just looked really kind of bad.
And the kid playing the banjo looks like Joe Biden.
He kind of does, actually.
Oh, Biden looks just like him. Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of Irish people that look like that kid. Come on now. Come on.
Well, up in those hills, that's where they were made of. There was a lot of Irish. There was a lot of
town I live in. There's a lot of kids walking to high school every morning that look like that kid. So
you remember Nate Beatty's line? Talk about your genetic deficiencies. Perry and I work with a guy. That's when they start peeking in the window. We're at the gas station. They start peeking in the windows. You're like, oh shit, this is horrible. Talk about your genetic deficiency. He paid 80 for that line.
That you remembered that one line from that movie is fucking great.
He was the perfect suburban, well-coached guy that was very comfortable. You know,
he's well thought of in his field. Oh man. Yeah, Perry and I work with a guy that played guitar. This guy claimed to be.
Did he have genetic deficiency?
He might have. But he claimed to be Woody Guthrie's one of his illegal progeny, one of his Woody Guthrie. Yeah. But he played guitar, but he could contort his face into the Deliverance kid. It was fucking scary. I won't say his name, but
that's a talent.
It was a real time. He's a good guitar player, but one day he goes, "Look at this." I'm like, "Oh my god!" It just
were you and Terry like looking at each other like, "Let's get out of here while he doesn't see us"?
No, he was a strange guy to work with, believe me.
What else you got, Mark?
All right, I got one of Leslie Nielsen's serious roles, Poseidon Adventure. His big scene is looking at the wave. And then,
was he the captain?
Yeah, he was the captain.
Yeah.
Here's a favorite of mine from my childhood, only because it was so weird. Jeremiah Johnson. I remember seeing
that movie.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Johnson walked his way into the mountains.
Yeah.
But
I have to see it now. I haven't seen it since I was a
it's still great. It's like watching a Clint Eastwood movie, an old Western.
Yeah.
It's still a great movie.
Yes, it is. Yep.
So, what was he saying? He was talking to the Indian about the lady, and he says she's a little touched.
Right.
Touched. And I always laughed at that because that was a term back in our day.
Yeah, it was.
He's touched in the head.
Yeah.
Touched in the head.
There was a guy in Green Acres. Remember the goofball? He was like the handyman. He goes,
yeah,
I'm a little touched in the head.
Little touched. Yeah, a little touched in the head. You can say that today. It's like,
that sounds like sugar. I got the sugar. Yeah.
Who played the old grizzly hunter?
Oh, that was the guy from the Waltons. Greer. Will Geer. Yeah.
I know how to
and he looks out the window and he's fucking running through the snow.
The grizzly bear chasing him.
He fucking dives through the window. The fucking grizzly chasing him. And he leaves. He just runs out the door and he's out there.
Oh, I got to rewatch this movie.
Oh, it's fucking great, man.
You know what? I'm putting it on my Amazon list. I'm going to get the Blu-ray.
Perry Denovich, the AI. What do you mean Robert Redford movie? Perry. AI is supposed to know everything. Of course it's a Robert Redford movie.
He's having a glitch right now.
He's glitching. No shit. Elon Musk better tap into that. Fix it.
Wigger's like, I've been
Max Headroom right
now for 5 days and smelling you for 10.
I'm smelling you for 10. Yeah. Oh, great movie. Like I said, that's a movie. That's like watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
I never get sick of it. Never get sick of watching that movie.
It's aged. It hasn't aged, really.
No, it's a classic.
Yeah,
it's an absolute classic, but good pluck, Mark. Good pluck.
Yeah, man.
All right, here's one of my favorite directors who I haven't seen all his movies yet because he's bizarre, but Sam Peckinpah.
The crazy ass movie.
Yeah. Getaway.
Yeah.
Here's a real weird one. It's funny and it was weird. It was Dr. Phibes Rides Again. The
Dr. Phibes with Vincent Price.
Those are wacky movies.
Yeah, Dr. Phibes. Yeah, the abominable Dr. Phibes was the first movie.
Yeah.
And then that one you saw Dr. Phibes.
And nothing beats on a Saturday night watching it on Sven Gulli. You ever watch Sven Gulli? And watching him because you see in Dr. Phibes and you see in Sven Gulli, you know.
We didn't see Sven Gulli. We had the Ghoul.
Oh.
We had a guy called the Ghoul.
Yeah, now Sven Gulli's still going strong.
I know. He has a whole he has a big following on Facebook. And you got a Sven Gulli shirt?
Yeah, man.
Then there was Son of Sven Gulli, right?
Yeah.
Son of Sven Gulli.
I got to get some rubber chickens.
See, I'm into all that nerd shit. I actually pay attention. I love that shit. That's pop culture right there.
One thing he brought home, and my son watched it with me, is like, nowadays you got the universes with the movies, right? You got the Marvel universe. But we watched Svengoolie and the old Frankenstein, Dracula. They had the universe then. They would mix them up. They had like the whole.
You're
universe.
right. You're absolutely right.
Godzilla,
though they had the monster universe with them too.
Yeah. So it's
but nothing was better than the Hammer films.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever see The Women of Hammer? Just Google The Women of Hammer.
Really?
Oh my Lord. Oh, some of the most beautiful women, and they're all natural.
The Hammer films are the horror films I grew up with. Channel 9 in New York City showed them every.
But they cut them. Like if you saw them in the movie theater, they had some big, beautiful, natural breasts. Just popping all over those movies
and hips,
and they were. I mean, these women were phenomenally beautiful women.
Yeah,
and they had no problem. Just like whoever the directors were, or whoever ran the production studio, knew how to pick them.
Wait, were the Hammer films English?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones I watched because they remade a lot of stuff. They made their own version.
That's
of,
Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Yeah.
See, that's what I grew up on. That was so I didn't grow up on the Bela Lugosi and all that stuff.
Universal ones, the
Universal they were good too.
They're great. I think.
Then there was Vampire Circus. Did you ever see Vampire Circus?
No.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That's bizarre. It's fucking bizarre, but yeah.
Did you ever see one of the last Peter Cushing Dracula movies? Not Peter Cushing. He did Dracula. It's the one where he was like with the hippies in England. He was like in the 60s.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that was bad. That was terrible. I'm like, come on.
All right, what other movies you got?
I got two more. I got The Mechanic, Jan Michael Vincent.
Yeah.
Movie.
The
Great
Mechanic,
movie.
yeah.
Didn't mind I gotta say, everyone hated the remake. I didn't hate it, but it was kind of dumb. Like, why remake it? You know.
Yeah, well.
Then here we go. Here's an oddball. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the German director,
Werner Herzog.
Werner Herzog, Agira, The Wrath of God, an early role with Klaus Kinski, who I just learned recently was an absolute nut. You did not want to work with him. He would kill you if he had a chance. It's about the conquistadors in South America looking for the city of gold. And in 1972, Werner Herzog took cameras into the jungle and filmed this thing. And it sounds like Apocalypse Now. And I saw it the other day on PBS, and I ordered the Blu-ray just to watch it. But seeing Klaus Kinski playing a Spaniard is hilarious because he's got the long blonde hair. You know,
Klaus Kinski played Ringo in A Fistful of Dollars.
Wow,
really?
Yeah, he played a character Ringo. He had the twitch in his eye.
Yeah,
and he goes into the bar, and Clint Eastwood started shit with him. And then
he's crazy.
He got the twitch. And it was just like. Yeah. Klaus Kinski's and then his daughter, Hottie.
Natasha
Kinski.
Wasn't he also Nosferatu?
Cat People. She was in Cat People.
Yeah. Right? Was he Nosferatu?
The movie?
Yeah. The original?
No, that's Willem Dafoe.
Well, that was the remake of but
that was the remake they did. Willem Dafoe played, but I thought Klaus Kinski would play
in the original.
In the original Nosferatu.
No, that was in the 20s.
I was going to say, he was young.
Okay,
but you know what I like?
Wasn't it another Kinski?
There might have been, yeah. But I was going to say that remake with William Dafoe. What I liked about that remake, it was just
crazy.
Is that the idea of it was that they made that Nosferatu, and he really was a vampire.
The guy that played the part though was an absolute lunatic.
Really?
That guy was really like he was bizarre. So they took that aspect of it. Yeah, look up the making of that, like the real making of it. I believe this guy was fucking like weird. But look at him, right? They added makeup to him, of course, but he was this tall, lanky, long-fingered.
Oh, I saw a picture of him without all the makeup. He kind of does look a little different.
Yeah, but he was bizarre, like they said, to work with.
That movie scared me as a kid.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's creepy.
Best vampire ever. Scariest vampire ever.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's get back to music. Let's do top 10 this week in 1972. And number 10 being I'm Still in Love with You, Al Green. I'm still in love with you. Yeah, baby. Number 9 this week in 1972, Honky Cat, Elton John. Great song.
Yep.
Great song. Number 8 this week in 1972, one of the songs that's of the two. It's one of the two, maybe the greatest comparison of which song do you like better that I've ever come across. Brandy, right? By Looking Glass, and the other is Always Dancing in the Moonlight. Which one do you like better?
Double A side.
What's that?
Double A side.
Double A side, yeah.
I'm partial to Brandy.
Number 7 this week in 1972. Like I said, he was coming up. He was going to be mentioned. Can't avoid him. Rock and Roll Part 2, Gary Glitter.
The Peeper.
There's a YouTube channel. I'll send it to you. It has some great videos. It's like top 10 evilest musicians, most evil musicians, and it'll do top 10 worst YouTube stars, creepiest YouTube stars, and it's very interesting to watch this stuff, and it's done really well. It's done really well in almost like an 80s VHS style. I'll send you the channel.
Send it. Yeah.
Like I start watching this shit in the afternoon when you guys are working and I'm doing nothing. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
You know what? You deserve to do nothing.
Hey,
I gotta say.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you.
From what you've done in your life,
I
should be working till I'm 100. I should never
That's
stop
some crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
It's some crazy shit.
The guy that played Nosferatu was Max Schreck.
Max Schreck, yeah.
And there was a band called Max Schreck. Do you remember that, Lou? In the
yes,
New Jersey?
I do.
They were heavy band or something.
And that was Christopher Walken in the second Batman movie.
Yes.
Yeah. He played
Max Schreck.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Good
Connected
call.
the dots. Wow.
Guys are coming up some gems tonight. You've been off your game lately, gentlemen. I just kind of now's the time to tell you.
Oh, really?
No.
Really?
Oh, no. I'm only kidding.
Oh,
I'm
man.
only, no, don't kid. No, I'm only kidding. He's put me I'm in the penalty box.
He's a bad host. He's been a bad host.
He criticized us.
He criticized it. I don't know what to do now.
I'm just going to listen to Time Passages.
Time sausages. I think I'm going to have to lay down on my therapy couch.
Watch what's on that couch.
No, that's the porn couch. Lou is laying down on the porn couch.
His back is all sticky.
Dude, it would be hilarious if Lou just did the show on laying down on the couch, right?
That would be performance theater, like David Bowie or something.
Look at yeah. Performance podcasting.
Assume the fetal position.
I'm too shy.
Lou, do you have anything supporting your back there?
I have a pillow. I'm you know why? Because my back has been fucking killing me.
Me too.
I'm addressing things, but yeah, I have a back pillow. I got my psychedelic groovy 60s pillow.
Hey, now look at that.
It helps me out here too. Yeah.
Let's see. Number 6 this week in
I've been
19.
holding it in for 2 hours, Lou. Don't make me laugh, okay?
I'm sorry.
Let's see. Number 6 this week in 1972. Long Cool Woman in a black dress by the Hollies. One of those songs where the lyrics somehow someone always messes them up. Number 5 this week on the top 10 chart in 1972. They smile in your face all the time. They want to steal your place. The backstabbers.
What they do?
I don't know that.
Yeah.
It's OJ's, isn't it?
The OJ's. Yeah. Number 4 this week in 1972. Saturday in the park. I think it was the 4th of July. Who doesn't like that song,
That's
right?
a summer song. That's
really
like the
is.
ultimate summer song.
Yes,
really
it is. Yes, it is.
It really is.
A man selling ice cream.
And you know what? Kids today don't get it. Like, they'll never understand the greatness of a good summer song like that.
Well, here's the thing. I grew up at least without air conditioning. So I had hot summer days without air. We smelled leaded gas.
Yeah,
which is a unique smell.
Yeah,
I mean, summer was different back in that time, you know?
So, you know, when I was growing up, you just mentioned something. When I was growing up, I had the weirdest fucking thing, and I have no idea to this day why this was what it was, but it was the weirdest fucking thing. On Sundays, only on Sundays, I couldn't stand the fucking smell of gasoline or donuts. Donuts on Sunday. Fucking, it got me all creeped out. Like, I don't know why they upset me. Like, donuts on Sunday. When I was a kid, when I was a little, I did, like, donuts and gasoline on Sunday, it would upset me. Like, and I have no idea where it came from.
All right.
Like, I'm 12 years old and I'm upset.
Okay.
Like, internally upset. Like, I didn't act out. I just was very uncomfortable.
On the weekends, my dad would mow the lawn. Was it possible that you were mowing the lawn, you smelled the gasoline, they were filling it?
You were a rich kid. You had the lawnmower with gasoline. Oh no! I had the fucking the fucking hillbilly.
We had that too.
I had the hillbilly 2 wheels and a big.
We had that from my grandfather.
Rotating blade.
Tiller wheel, yeah.
But my dad had the gas power, but he would make me use the push one. I had to use the push one, you know.
I had the push one. No, I don't know why, but it like upset me.
I have a theory.
Uh-oh, here we go.
So, did you not want to go to school on Monday?
I hated it.
Okay. So, my theory is that because that reminds you of the weekend and it also reminds you of the pending school week.
That always happened during the Dallas, because the Dallas Cowboy games was always like the 4:00 game on CBS. On Sundays. And once that game was over, I started getting the dread of Monday morning.
Yeah.
Like the internal dread. But the donuts, where do the fucking donuts come from? Like donuts and gasoline. I can't even connect the two in my life.
Were donuts a regular feature of the McLean household?
No, donuts. Donuts.
That's fucking weird then, all right?
Lou,
Now there's this.
this is the introspective part of the show for us because Lou, you pick up something. I'm really catching that because I was forced to go to church on Sunday. I hated it. And I got migraines on Sunday, but I think because I was nervous because we went to a church that was, rah, rah, and
that's PTSD. That's some Pentecostal PTSD.
Then I would get the migraine. I got migraines. I don't know what caused it. And then I was forced to go to church with a migraine. I threw up in church one time. So that forever, like that association, because when you have a migraine,
are you, wait, hold on. I just thought of something. Are you topping me? Did you just top my story?
Yeah.
Are you a topper, Mark Smith?
He was attempting.
No, because
he was trying to trump you on that.
I think he's a topper. He's trying to trump me.
Yeah,
he's a trumper.
Yeah, I can't believe he just tried to. I was
school,
spilling my guts.
The thing with school,
he was, and I was trying to help you, Scott. See, I was trying to help you.
You're the good co-host.
Oh, Scott. Let's just tell Mark next week that the show's going to be on Friday and not tell him. Lou, you better put some powder on your nose.
Oh, really? Okay.
Back in the 80s, there was powder under the nose.
Yeah, really.
Well, the thing about school is you didn't want to go. I dreaded going because I got beat up in school. So I would get scared Sunday.
See, I was a kid that stuck up for kids like you.
Lou knows why I got beat up. He knows the school I went to.
I know you were.
Okay.
I had to go to an all boys Catholic high school where I had to ride a 45-minute bus ride. So Sunday night, I'm like, fuck this. Fuck it, I hate it.
So Marie Martin says, what kind of donuts? It was any kind of donuts.
Really?
Like, it wasn't a specific donut.
But
I'll eat the fuck out of them on Monday morning.
Yeah, interesting.
But it was just really weird. I don't know why that.
I'm going with school dread. What is that? How about the gasoline in the morning? Like my father would come and pick us up, take us to my grandparents' house, and sometimes he had donuts, and sometimes we'd stop and get gas, and it just.
You know what? One time something really bad happened. One time, and that just stuck with you.
I can't remember though. I can't remember what donuts and gas have in common, but
just that. Do you remember English Leather? That cologne?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I won't get into it, but if I smell it, instant migraine, I want to vomit, and I won't even get into it. So.
It's like Clockwork Orange, man.
Lou, they packaged that in Northvale, New Jersey.
Oh, really?
That's probably and I'm not going to go any further than that.
All right, back to the show. Number 3 this week in 1972, "Alone Again," Naturally by Gilbert O'Sullivan. Fucking slit my wrists.
Really?
I like it because I'm always alone again.
Yeah. Well, number 2 this week in 1972.
Mawkish.
"Baby, baby, don't get hooked on me."
Mac Davis.
Yeah, "Baby, baby." That was up from number 4.
That song's been now called out on its misogynistic lyrics.
Yeah, well, fuck them.
Because I will only use you and set you free.
Yeah,
baby,
good.
baby. He's a loner and a rebel. You get hurt, get mixed up with a guy like that. It's a mystique.
Number 1 this week in 1972, a jump from number 9 the previous week to number 1. "The child is black, child is white."
I hate that song.
"And then they made a cookie after them."
A big ass cookie.
The black and the white.
One side is black, one side is white.
It's also like Frank Gorshin on Star Trek. Remember, he was half black, half white.
Oh yeah. And he was fighting the other guy that was half white and half black.
Exactly right.
They were opposite, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. See, they were addressing those issues back.
All right,
in the
fuck
day.
you. I just got wine up my nose. All right.
There you go, buddy.
What are they trying to tell us?
The cookie is black.
Frank Gorshin was great.
White.
He was black and white, and he was white and black, and they were fighting.
No, he was. So the right side of this one guy's face was black. And the right side of the other guy's face was white, right? Yeah. So they were really kind of addressing the, and they hated each other.
Yeah.
Right. So that was just their way of saying how the blacks and the whites, and Captain Kirk was can we all just get along?
No.
Oh,
Rodney King before Rodney King.
Can we all? That's what he was.
Like Eddie Murphy said, Kirk would fuck anything. He fucked the green bitch.
Yeah,
he would fuck a grasshopper,
quote unquote.
I'm going to jump to number 11 and number 12. Let me just go down this list a little more. Number 11 and 72 is The Guitar Man by Bread. The only song I like by them.
It's a guitar.
The only song. Fade Away. Then number 12 was Go All the Way, The Raspberries.
Oh, great song.
Great song, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, two totally different songs. That riff, that heavy guitar, right?
Yeah.
Then they get into this like love song kind of thing. Then they
yeah.
hit it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun, dun. Yeah, great song. And then number 13 was Ben. Ben.
Yeah, dirty rat.
Yeah.
We're always running here.
Number 15 was Beautiful Sunday by Daniel Boone.
Hot, beautiful Sunday.
I don't know that one. I was just
man.
way too young at the time to know what that was.
Number 16 was Everybody Plays the Fool by The Main Ingredient.
Yeah.
Great song. Chris.
Let's see. Number 18 was Popcorn by Hot Butter. Yeah.
I see an old
19
guy.
was Run to Me by the Bee Gees. And number 20, and this week in 1972, Nights in White Satin, The Moody Blues.
Old man looks for love but finds none.
Oh, that's fucking right.
Maybe old man should be in a different place.
It ruined the whole song.
It ruined the whole song.
Old man should discover internet.
And you know who wrote that schlock poetry? The drummer, Graham Edge.
Yeah. Well,
You take drugs, you can write anything.
It's always the drummer's fault.
Well, it's time for This Day in Music.
This day.
Yeah, let's start back in
September 14th.
Yep. And let's go back to and by the way, happy birthday to my brother Colin.
Happy birthday, Carole.
Yeah, happy birthday. It took me to the end of the show to get it, but
Should've
happy
said it at
birthday
the
to my
top.
brother.
You suck.
The greatest, the biggest Allman Brothers fan in the world.
Cool.
He's one of them. Yeah.
I like the last story you told about him too. He punched a guy in the face.
Oh yeah. Punched him in the face. Yeah, it bumped into him. It bumped into him. He's like 63 and he's still throwing punches. Oh, he had to go to the bathroom. Mark dismissed himself from class. All right, let's see. September 14th, 2018, Verve Records held a launch party at the Rainbow Room in New York City to celebrate the release of the late, great Tony Bennett and Diana Krall's album, Love Is Here to Stay. After the duo performed their rendition of Fascinating Rhythm, Guinness World Records adjudicator Alex Angert announced Bennett, who first recorded the tune under the stage name of Joe Bowery over 68 years earlier, was now the title holder for the longest time between releases of an original recording and re-recording of the same single. Excuse me.
Interesting.
I think they made that shit up just for him. How the fuck, okay, let's just make something up and give Tony Bennett a world record.
Give him some obscure world record.
On this day in 2014, a life-size bronze statue of singer Amy Winehouse was unveiled in Camden, north of London. She was a pretty girl. She was a tiny thing, but she was a pretty girl.
She had big hair.
Yeah, big hair, but she had nice features. Yeah. She had nice lips.
I was about to say mouth. Yeah,
she had a nice mouth.
Amy Winehouse had a nice mouth. Better than Sheryl Crow.
You know what? We might have just had come up with number 2. I think Amy Winehouse had a better mouth. I don't know. Sheryl Crow got a pretty nice mouth.
Okay.
But Amy Winehouse has fuller lips, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not about the size of the lips, I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So evidently I'm a mouth expert.
Apparently.
On women. I judge people by, I judge women by their mouths.
What about Bowser?
Don't make me finish this show alone.
Yeah, really? All right, I'll be good.
Let's see. On this day in 2011.
What the fuck? Oh, gee. Oh, fuck me.
I wouldn't let him back on.
Hi.
There he is. Hey.
There he is. On this day in 2011, it was reported that a Swedish Bob Dylan fan had been arrested for singing Bob Dylan songs outside his ex-girlfriend's house. The lovesick man had also cobbled together a group of 5 other men to serve as vocal accompaniment for the late night live performance, each of who donned hoodies with their hoods up But soon after the man began to serenade his ex, who had previously taken out a restraining order against him, she called the police, leaving 50-year-old guitarist blowing in the wind.
I'm sure he was blowing in the wind.
I had the idea that I'd play a Bob Dylan song for her, the man told police. No word on which song it was, unfortunately.
I'm trying to picture 6 Swedish guys singing Bob Dylan.
Oh, my God.
I have to say I was one of them. I was living in Sweden at the time.
On this day in 2008, Iron Maiden singer, you'll remember this. Maybe both of you will, but I know. Iron Maiden singer Bruce Dickinson was one of the pilots who flew specially chartered flights after 85,000 tourists were stranded in the U.S., the Caribbean, Africa, and Europe after Britain's third largest tour operator went into administration. In other words, bankruptcy.
Yeah.
The singer, who had worked for the airline Astrius for 9 years, took up flying during a low point in his solo career after he quit the band in 1993.
Wow.
He's amazing. They did a world tour where he piloted the band
all around
jet.
the world.
It's a documentary, Flight 666.
Well, supposedly the thing about a plane, why is my mic doing this now? The thing about a plane is the hardest part is taking off and landing. Once you're up there, the navigation is, I guess, relatively.
Those are when I fly, that's the 2 times I'm scared shitless, especially landing, because if you're driving down a highway going 80 miles an hour and you need to slow down, that can be eerie because, like, a plane's coming down through the air, you know, and then when it hits the runway, boom, you know, and it's like,
I'll tell you, it's weird.
Of the tires hitting.
I sat in the cockpit of a C-130 taking off one time when I was stationed in Mather Air Force Base in Sacramento. They let me sit up in I was a cop on base, so we were me and my buddy were going to Hawaii for the weekend. You catch a hop for like $10.
That must have been so cool.
Yeah, so they wanted the cops on base, the pilots and everybody. There was a navigator training plane, and they were like, "Hey, you guys one of you want to sit in the cockpit for takeoff, and then the other for landing?" We're like, "Sure." Dude, it's the weirdest fucking thing sitting in a cockpit when you're taking off. Yeah. Because all you see is the sky. Yeah. You don't see anything like other than sky because you're going up.
Yeah.
And it feels like you're just kind of hanging there.
Yeah.
It really doesn't feel like you have the speed that you have. But
right.
It was quite an experience. Yeah, quite an experience. On this day in 2008, the Kings of Leon started a 3-week run at #1 in the UK singles charts with Sex on Fire, taken from the band's 4th studio album, Only by Night.
Never caught on to them.
Nope, I didn't either. On this day in 2005, Britney Spears gave birth to a baby boy by cesarean section. Spears and husband Kevin Federline had been taken to the UCLA Medical Center, Santa Monica, under police escort early in the morning.
And the baby escaped and became the Jersey Devil.
I don't care what you say. She's crazier than a sprayed roach, but she's still hot.
Yeah, she is.
She puts out them stripper pole videos of herself, like dancing, like I said, crazier than a sprayed roach, but she still looks good.
Yeah, I was born cesarean too, so every time I leave the house, I go out through the window.
Oh, okay. What's his name? The guy from Boston that talks like this.
All right, Lou, we dare you. When the show's over, we want to see you climb over the couch out that window.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got drunk one night. Yeah, Stephen Wright. I got drunk one night. I came home. I put my key in the door and turned it, and the house started up. So I took it for a ride. The whole thing.
I wanted to learn how to play harmonica, so I drove really fast and held it out the window.
Okay. On this day in 2005, the newly refurbished Grateful Dead's original tour bus went on display at the Volvo Auto Museum in Volo, Illinois. The Volo Auto Museum in Volo, Illinois.
A Volvo and Volo.
It's just a Volo. I added a V by mistake. In 1965, the 1965 Gillig bus, which Jerry Garcia and the rest of the Dead dubbed Sugar Magnolia. Did you know that, Mark? Was used by the band on their frequent tours across the U.S. between 67 and 85. The ceiling was lined with hundreds of vintage rock posters featuring the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and others who had visited the bus. That's a good idea.
It is. And what do you think it smelled like inside?
Oh, it smelled like a herd of goats.
No air conditioning.
And taco seasoning.
On this day in 1999, it was reported that George Michael was being sued for $10 million by the policeman who arrested the singer in a public lavatory. Marcelo Rodriguez claimed he was mocked in the video outside, leaving him in physical distress.
I remember that video.
I remember the video too. It's pretty funny. See, like I had always say, George Michael was the greatest at self-deprecation, owning his mistakes, laughing at himself, telling people I'm an idiot, I screwed up. And that's why people loved him.
Yeah.
That's why he was never canceled. That's why he was always bounced back, because he just owned what he did. He wasn't pretentious about it. Whatever his PR person was telling him, anything, he just said, nah, I'm just gonna, and I'll go on a talk show and I'll say, yeah, I was an idiot. And laugh at himself, and people are like, that's what you want from somebody. That's genuine.
Yeah.
You know, he never had an excuse. He never came out with, well, it was because, or they set me up, or, you know, he just said, yeah, I fucked up, you know? And yeah, that video was actually pretty good too. It's pretty good. On this day in 1997, over 2,000 fans watched Pete Townsend unveil a English heritage blue plaque at 23 Brook Street, Mayfair, London, to mark where Jimi Hendrix had lived in 68 and 69. That's a stretch, if you ask me. Hendrix was the first pop star to be awarded with the plaque. That is kind of a stretch.
You know
Jimi
what?
Hendrix lived here for a year.
Yeah, Pete probably knew the owner of the building, and he was some kind of real estate investment.
Somebody wanted that to just to bump up the cost of living in that apartment.
Now, I think what's more historical than that is when my daughter and her soon-to-be husband went up to Woodstock. They found the house that Jimmy lived in before the festival with the Gypsy Sun and Rainbows. They found that house. Well, they took a picture of it, and as soon as they were taking a picture of it, the guy ran out, "Get out of here!" You know. But that's cool. That's that's history, you know. Or the pink house, the Big Pink, or whatever. You know?
You can rent Big Pink as an Airbnb, but you can't go into the basement.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna rent it.
What's
I'm always up there. You know.
What's in the basement?
That's where the band and Dylan did the basement tapes.
Oh, okay.
So that's the house. Was it Rick Danko, Garth?
What's
Hudson?
the thing with you can't go in the basement? Is that a whole separate thing?
Well, that must be like a little shrine, because that, you know, anyone who wants to rent this house, I mean, as a musician, I would want to go in the basement and just sit there and vibe it, you know, because that's
they might have people like shitting down there.
Yeah, they don't want people fucking it up.
Partying. Yeah.
People suck.
The whole attraction is that's the
Luke, I'm looking at going up there soon because I gotta go visit my father's grave. Send me the link, find it for me, and send it to me. I want to get that.
You know what they should do? Should make a glass floor.
Yeah,
but everyone would
look down there.
People would be pissing all over the floor.
I was gonna say you could pee on it.
I think people are a little more. They're not gonna get a good Airbnb rating if they do that.
You know what? You're right. The original fans, the people our age would be cool. It's the young ones. They would be like, "Yo, man."
Yeah, Airbnbs are fun. My wife is like we have to get a good rating. We have to.
Yeah,
and we do. We have like a perfect rating because we pay the $125 cleaning fee, and we leave the fucking place cleaner than when we got there.
Yeah.
It's like, baby, why don't we just give them a check for $125? I love you, baby, but let them. No, it's fine. Okay, strip the beds. It's like we're in the military. Beds get stripped, blankets are folded, pillows are put in the right places. It's like we've gotten more responses from the owners of these things going, "Oh my God!" Like,
but you're
thank
golden
you.
Because when Airbnb starts to crash and all these bad users, you guys will have no problem.
I might make sure that rating is top notch.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And she got you a laptop.
Yeah, and she got me a laptop. Yeah. On this day in 1995, the lyrics to the Beatles song "Getting Better," handwritten by Paul McCartney, sold for £161,000, which is about $181,000 or so, at Sotheby's auction in London. On this day in 1994, U.S. singer Steve Earle was sentenced to 1 year in jail after being found guilty of possession of crack cocaine.
Yep.
On this day in 1984, David Bowie won video of the year for what song in 84?
Dancing in the Streets.
Oh, no.
84.
Blue Cheese.
It wouldn't tonight. The album that came out after Let's Dance, right? Don't Let Me Down.
Never Let You Down.
Nope.
Is it the one? He's not the one where he's roller skating through the store. Okay.
Nope. It's the one where the girl does this.
China Girl.
Yep.
Oh, baby, just you shut your mouth.
How come that song doesn't get canceled?
That's a great video.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm making that my video of the week.
There you go.
Another one, but there you go.
Who wrote it?
Oh, that was Iggy Pop, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
And Stevie Ray Vaughan made it what it is with his little lick.
With his guitar, yeah.
Yeah.
On this day in 1981, the Rolling Stones played a secret pre-tour warm-up show at Sir Morgan's Cove Club in Worcester, Massachusetts. I remember that. Turned into a fucking total chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Billed as Little Boy Blue and the Cockroaches, a local radio station announced that the Stones were in town, resulting in the club being besieged by over 4,000 fans attempting to get into the 350-person venue. Police were drafted in to control the crowds, which resulted in 11 fans being arrested. On this day in 1979, the film Quadrophenia was released. Based on The Who's 1973 rock opera film, featured Phil Daniels, Toya Wilcox, Ray Winston, Michael Elphick, and Sting.
The guy that played Jimmy was great.
Bellboy!
I'm going to keep my lip button.
One of my favorite Who songs, Out of My Brain.
Yeah.
On the 515. I love that song.
Yeah.
With those horns. Da-na-na-na-na. Yep.
Scott, I'm looking at the skull behind you because you looked at it a second ago. Like, is it talking? Like, I'm getting a little freaked out here.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting a little weird here.
Not saying anything.
Does Lou know that his curtains are moving?
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Lou on the porn couch is just love that. The leather. All right, for the podcast listeners, Lou's got this like really broken in light tan leather couch, right?
I'm the lady.
It's got like man. the three like the backing of it is he's there's three separate like parts of the backing where so it's like three people can sit there, right? And it's got that 80s. The arms like curl over like 45 degrees, right? It's
like a pillow.
But it's like unbelievably padded. And it's
got
like
the 80-year-old man skin wrinkles on it.
And it's got the skin wrinkles on it. Yeah, yeah. All broken in. That is like what you see on like Pornhub. Not that I watch Pornhub. Not that I ever watch Pornhub.
And you don't want to shine a black light on this guy.
You don't want to say no. That's
when me and Perry come down.
Pollock painting.
When me and Perry come down to record, we're gonna be fighting over who gets that couch.
Oh yeah.
You're both sleeping on it.
You're both. And
I'm gonna film it.
And action.
Exactly. Videotape tells the truth.
On this day in 1974, Stevie Wonder started a 2-week run at #1 in the U.S. album charts with "Fulfilling This First Finale." Say that 3 times.
Yeah, really.
His second U.S. #1, the album received 3 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year in 1974. On this day in 1971, during a U.S. tour, Led Zeppelin appeared at Berkeley Community Theater, Berkeley, California. Countless major acts have appeared here, including Jimi Hendrix, The Who, Van Morrison, The Kinks, Bruce Springsteen, Genesis, Elvis Costello, The Clash, Iggy Pop, and David Bowie.
You didn't say the Grateful Dead.
No, they're not listed, and I don't blame them. On this day in 1968, Roy Orbison's house in Nashville burnt down. His 2 eldest sons both died in the.
Ooh.
Orbison was on tour in the UK at the time of the accident.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he had a tough life.
He did.
Even when he was a kid, he had a tough life. Yeah.
Even his comeback was tragic because he came back and he died.
But he went out on top, man.
Went out on top. He
fucking went out on top with the Traveling Wilburys.
You can blame Tom Petty for that, from what I hear.
What's that? Killing him?
I heard the rumor is he gave him a line of coke and he had a heart attack. That's what I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know how true it is though.
Would you read that in Rolling Stone?
Hey, yeah. No, actually, they wouldn't report that because they love Tom Petty, so they wouldn't report it.
On this day in 1968, the first episode of the comic strip The Archies was aired on US TV. The recording group had contributions from Ron Dante, Andy Kim, Jeff Barry, and others. Rock mogul Don Kirshner, who also brought us the Monkees, was put in charge of the studio group. The following year, the Archies started an 8-week run at #1 in the UK singles chart with Sugar Sugar, becoming the longest-running one-hit wonder in the UK.
I love Sugar Sugar.
And they were #1 in the United States, too. Yeah, I mean,
Sugar
it's a
Sugar
great
song.
Yeah.
All right, Betty or Veronica? Which one?
I always like the Veronica, the black hair.
Yeah.
I always have a propensity for black-haired girls.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, so Sailing is the ultimate yacht rock song. Sugar Sugar is the ultimate bubblegum song.
Bubblegum pop, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
On this day in 1967, filming continued for the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour in southwest England. The Beatles searched for a quiet, secluded field in which they could conduct filming, but once they disembarked from the bus and set up for shooting, scores of onlookers began to crowd around, causing a traffic jam that required the police to step in.
You think?
I know. On this day in 1955, one of the greatest entertainers, this is my spin on it, one of the greatest entertainers in the history of music, Little Richard, entered the New Orleans recording studio to begin 2 days of recording. Things were not going well, and during a break, Richard and his producer, Bumps Blackwell, went to the Dewdrop Inn for lunch. Richard started playing the piano in the bar like crazy, singing a loud and lewd version of Tutti Frutti. With only 15 minutes left in the session, Richard recorded the song and coined the phrase, a wop baba loo bop a la bam boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Telling you, the guy, one of the greatest entertainers ever.
You know what?
Yeah.
He was
Shut up.
the hard rock. He was the hard rock or heavy metal guy of his day.
He was.
Think about it.
Well, him and Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis was like that too.
Yeah.
They had some serious, they were not pop music.
No.
They were rock.
Even though,
And Little Richard says he should have got credit for rock and roll. That's what he is. That was one of his
Wait,
things.
Lou, we discussed this on the show. Like, where did rock and roll go?
Yeah.
Like, rock and roll was dangerous, and those two represented it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then, like, it got taken down in the early '60s. You had that horrible. Yeah, rock was destroyed really for a while.
Oh yeah, and there was the teen schmaltz singers, but like a song like Lucille. Even like my son's 17, so we're listening to music in the car, and Lucille came in and like. I never listened to the drums like that. It's pounding. It's like I said, it's heavy. But even my son, when he goes, shit, you're like, wow. It was like,
John Bonham based rock and roll, the intro on I Hear You Keep It Knocking. It's the same thing. Yeah. Heavy stuff.
That might have been Earl. Actually, the drummer, I think his name is Earl Palmer. He's credited with being one of the inventors of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Just being in those situations.
Earl Palmer. Yeah. Marie Martin says he said he was the king of rock and roll. Little Richard. He was too flamboyant though. He was too flamboyant, and they didn't want it. He wouldn't get accepted.
Yeah.
He always was an outsider just because of his flamboyancy.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like that. So he didn't get the credit he deserved, but he did eventually become, an icon. But in his day, he wouldn't. They weren't really giving.
I loved when he was interviewed in Hail Hail Rock and Roll. He's such a wise ass because I saw it and I said, because look what he's been through. And he was commenting on Chuck Berry, another one who went through a lot of shit, know, and it was great. Yeah.
But I think Little Richard with the gay thing too, I think he was so flamboyant, they weren't going to even relate that to rock and roll, and it wouldn't be accepted. And I think that was kind of, and I think he knew it. I mean, I'm not speaking for him, but I would think that he knew that was the case. So
he wasn't stupid,
he's just like, fuck it. I'm just going to be me. I don't care what they say. And his time came in the 80s, and he got a big microphone in the 80s because he was everywhere.
Yeah.
He was funny as hell. He was entertaining. He was engaging. He was endearing. He was funny.
Sort of wild.
You couldn't not like him. You couldn't not like him. You know what I mean? He was just a brilliant performer, even off stage. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you saw him on any talk show, you loved it. He was great.
Oh, you couldn't ask for a better guest.
Yeah.
Because you knew you were going to get some comedy gold.
Yep.
You knew you were going to get an interesting character who is not shy. Hey,
that's right.
Yeah. But Little Richard.
So
you know what? Lou, do some if I could ask you, do a little deep dive on Little Richard.
Sure.
We could talk about it next week.
Yeah. McCartney, like songs like I'm Down. Even he did the Little Richard covers in early Beatles days, and I think Paul McCartney is almost no one did Little Richard better as a non-Little Richard person than Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney, he taught them how to do that. He taught them how to hit those notes.
That's right.
You know who also did a good Little Richard, was very influenced? Ian Gillan from Deep Purple. Listen to House of Blue Light. What was the first song on In Rock? He is channeling his screams. He was channeling Little Richard early on.
Send me that video, Mark.
Yeah.
Send me a YouTube video or whatever.
Yeah, the first song in rock, when you hear, in fact, he references it, the House of Blue Light. That's a Little Richard song, but his wails, his maniacal screaming in the early 70s, he was doing Little Richard when he did all that shit. That was his big influence. Yeah. So that's why I said Little Richard was a hard rock singer.
Absolutely.
Back in his day,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Born on this day, 1983, the late great Amy Winehouse. And beautiful she does have a nice mouth. I'm looking at her picture. I'm like,
83.
83 she was born. God. Yeah. She was just a kid.
Wow.
22. Well,
going into high school.
She was the 27 club, right? She joined the 27 club, right? Yeah. Let's see. Born in this day in 1981, Ashley Roberts, singer of the Pussycat Dolls, who were big in the early 2000s. Born in this day in 1972, rapper Nasir Jones.
Haven't heard of him in a while.
Yeah. Let's see. Everclear. Born in this day in 1970, Mark Webber from the English rock band Pulp. Right? Let's see. Born this day in 1967, John Power, singer-songwriter to The La's. There she goes.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I married an ex-murderer.
Yeah, that's right.
Size of the head on that kid.
Born on this day in 1959, Morton Harkett, singer-songwriter for Aha.
Morton Downey Jr.
Born on this day in 1955, Steve Berlin, American saxophonist and keyboardist. Steve Berlin from Los Lobos.
Yep.
Born on this day in 1954, Barry Cowsill, American singing group.
The Cowsills.
Let's see. Single Rain Park, 1969.
Ray
the
Parker
Partridge
Jr.?
Family. What's that?
Were you about to say Ray Parker Jr.?
No. I was just reading something here. TV's Partridge Family was based on the Cowsills family.
Yeah.
He died from injuries caused by Hurricane Katrina in 2005.
Yeah.
His body was not recovered until December 28th, 2005 from the Charters Street Wharf. Oh, boy. He was only 51.
Yeah.
Let me see. Born in this day in 1950, Paul Kossoff.
Oh, yeah.
Free.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guitarist from Free.
He drank himself to death, I think.
Let me see. Born in this day in 1949, Ed King, who is one of my best friend's father. Ed King was the governor of Massachusetts.
So you meant the guy from Leonard Skinner.
Guitarist for the psychedelic rock band Strawberry Alarm Clock, and guitarist for bassist for Southern rock band Leonard Skinner.
Yeah,
72 to 75, and again 87 to 96.
That's right. He rejoined them.
He died in Nashville, Tennessee, at home at the. He was 68. 2018.
So weird that he was an LA guy. How did he join Leonard Skinner? These guys in Gainesville. It's so weird.
They knew a good, guitarist. Born this day in 1949, American musician Steve Gaines, guitarist with Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
So what a party that must have been.
Yeah.
This day, every September 14th, that whole band was rocking. Right?
Yeah.
2 birthdays. Let me see. Born in this day in 1946, Pete Agnew. You know who that is?
Spiro Agnew's son.
No. He was with the band Nazareth.
No.
I'm sorry. I don't want to say anything bad, but that is the ugliest last name, Agnew. Can you imagine it? Yeah.
Agnew?
Agnew. It's
I
like,
think Lipschitz is worse.
yeah. Spicoli, too.
If you shits and my ass whistles.
Okay. Born in this day in 1939, English singer, songwriter, musician Tony Hooper.
The show's going off the rails, people.
Yeah. Let me see. Known as the Queen of Mae Boren Axton, born in 1914. Known as the Queen Mother of Nashville. She wrote over 200 songs, including co-writing credit on the Elvis Presley hit Heartbreak Hotel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She died April 9th, 1997, at age 82, after drowning in her bath at home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, after an apparent heart attack. God bless her.
Was it the heart attack or the drowning that killed him?
Who knows?
Anyway, Lou.
I mean, what a great show this was tonight, gentlemen. And once again,
That's
2
the
hours and
Sopranos.
28 minutes. I was looking at this earlier. I'm like, we might break. We might hit just like
I
2
thought we
hours.
might do. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching. 72 was an interesting year, but it didn't have a lot, right? It had enough, but
You got those rabbit holes.
we hit the rabbit holes, yeah.
And
yeah.
The Godfather came out. We didn't even mention The Godfather.
Oh,
Well,
I
yeah,
was
of
expecting
course.
Lou
That
to go
was-
off on a tangent on that one tonight.
Well, he gave us the theme song information. So
Speak softly, love.
He already blew his load on the Milk Crates, on the Music Relish movie show. Remember that?
and also on that couch. But by the way, so tonight, that was a great show, gentlemen. That was a great show.
Hey, Lou, does this sound familiar to you?
As usual, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's not scare the listeners away.
I'm sorry.
Too
I'm a
late.
good Christian boy. I grew up in church.
Not anymore.
Bad boys, yeah, see? Patty Yossi says, thank you, Scott, Lou, and Mark. Great
Hey,
show. Thanks for
I
all
like
the info
Patty
and laughs.
Yossi because she mentioned Deep Purple tonight and Deep
Yeah,
Purple.
she did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, you know what? I am going to I'm going to scroll back to that comment. Let me see. That was at the beginning of the show, and I meant to say it, where she had said in 1972, Deep Purple was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the loudest band at 117 decibels. I meant to read that, but Mark sidetracked as usual. So Patty, you can blame
What'd I
Mark.
do? What'd I do?
It was 2.5 hours ago. I don't know what you
Oh, it
did.
was my triple chin. Yeah, I know. It's distracting you.
Here we go.
It was
Donuts
loose
and
couch.
gasoline. Donuts and gasoline. Donuts and gasoline.
That's an album cover. That's an
Donuts and
album title.
gasoline. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, as I always say, thank you for your time. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your friendship. I appreciate all of it. You have no idea. I want to thank the listeners and the viewers. Every week we do this for you guys. You are the engine that runs this machine. Without you, well, we'd still probably find a way to talk 2.5 hours about music.
We'd be on the phones.
We'd be
kind of like the Music Relish show.
Well, if you add up our text messages throughout the day, at the end of the week, it's 2.5 hours of text messages.
Oh, Mark texted at 11 o'clock. He must be drinking wine. Yeah.
I see that. Sometimes I wake up, I'm like, that motherfucker sent the text at 11 o'clock. Like, I'm trying to
I got
be in bed
one
at
eye open
10:30.
at that point.
I got one eye open. Also, if you like it, share it. If you didn't like it, well, thank you for watching and listening this long. It must have been something you liked.
Fool.
Yeah. And as I always say, doing this show for you, to quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, who, by the way, Morrissey once again cancels shows, right, in Mexico, which is one of the most unusual fan followings I've ever. Morrissey in Mexico are like it's like I don't know, it's spaghetti and meatballs. Like they fucking love Morrissey.
Scott, a lot of rock music that is kind of like off to the left and like it's kind of like is big, and they have a big scene down there.
Yeah.
Progressive music is huge in Mexico.
Yeah.
So go figure. So I'm not surprised that
They were saying that a lot of Mexican kids feel like that whole Morrissey being kind of like separated or kind of distant from normal society and the whole thing. They were kind of how they relate to him and his music. But he had to cancel his shows in Mexico because he has dengue fever, or dengue.
How do you
infection.
catch that?
Mosquitoes, man. Fucking mosquitoes.
I guess he was down there, huh?
He was on tour. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And he got dengue, whatever you call it. And he said he's going to pick up his tour in Florida. And I'm scheduled to see him on October 10th. So that motherfucker, me and my wife, my wife's like, darling, next time, it's just, because it gets like, I said, I got ticket insurance this time, baby. I got ticket insurance.
Wait, if you see him do this during
We're
the show,
2 for 2, though. We're 2 for 2 with him.
if you see him do this during the show, you're fucked.
Yeah. We're 2 for 2 with him. Once in Miami and the other one at Madison Square Garden. So I think we'll be all right. Morrissey's been good to me.
As long as they have air conditioning, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And like I say, to quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, doing the show for you, the privilege is mine. We will be back next week. Probably Wednesday, if Lou's not stuck being the only one out of a company of 20 people and he's the only one that showed up for work.
There's six of us, and that was a rough.
But you did the work of 20, I guess.
I always did.
Lou, I thought you ran out of. I thought you ran out of foundation. That's what I thought.
All right. Well, we'll be back next Wednesday night, 7:45. And Jack, where are you?
Jack, come on! I want to.
You know, didn't pop in tonight either. My friend Todd Sockman entertained me.
Well, it's Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, it's Thursday. Well, he works Monday through Friday, so.
But, Jack, I want to watch the show with you and Jack again.
Jack's. I don't know if that's ever going to happen again.
It will.
I listen. It's all up to him, man. But he'll never do a 2 hour. He'll only do an hour. And maybe I'll.
I don't, you know.
So maybe what I'll do is you guys can watch the first hour and then you just pop in and finish the show. You finish the show and pick it up at 8:45.
Bring us off the bench.
Green room. Yeah.
Bring you off the bench. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.